needs to go into the military then.
Oh God.
That's it.
No,
But
you
then,
know,
like the South Park thing, that like Operation Blackies or whatever they used to call that shit.
Huh?
The South Park is a movie.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Operation
Operation Get Behind the
Blackies.
Darkies.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
All right.
Yep, have you ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation? I don't listen to hip hop.
Yeah.
That was great stuff.
So the 64 gigabyte game cards are looked to be coming in 2020. This Terrell just shared a link.
Yeah. I just saw it.
And I wonder how much money they cost and
How
who
much
the
they
hell's
gonna
going to be able to gonna use them.
yeah, they're gonna cost so much.
Just to
And
type
no one's gonna use
Breath
it.
of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2 will come out. It's gonna have underwater. It's gonna have outer space. It's gonna have clouds. It's gonna have land.
It'll
You'd be able
still
to go
be
fucking
under
anywhere. with Breath of the
32
Wild 2.
gigs.
But it makes me.
I don't know if it was a sale price.
But it's interesting because that implies that is Nintendo going to start using 64 gig cards?
Nah.
Well, I don't know if it was a sale price, but I saw 128
I thought they
gigs
were
for like 20
already
bucks.
64
You're talking about
gig
SD
cards.
cards?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
Oh.
T, I think T's talking about SD cards.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
saying storage media in general is going down.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
like
actual
way down.
developer Switch cards.
No, but as far as the game
So
cards
this
are
is
concerned,
saying that what is it? Tappy Times mentions that flash memory maker Macronix is moving on its 3D NAND and is in the second half of 2020, and apparently their first customer is Nintendo. That's like that they need to get the orders out first.
Yeah.
So it's second
Oh,
half, and it's
surprising.
like, I mean, even if they're available, like which companies are actually going to utilize this without, I mean, raising the price of the Switch version, I guess.
well, I'm just curious because I think the report was because I think Clockett was saying that he thought they were already being used. No, I think they confirmed 32 gig was being used. Was that
Okay.
last year or?
Yeah, a couple.
Witcher uses 32 gig, and what's that?
There was one at
the
launch
Musu
that
game?
used it.
Oh, fucking Dragon Hero.
Musu game, yeah.
Dragon Quest
Oh, yeah,
Hero.
Never
was
came
one
to
and
the
two.
U.S.
That was the only game that used it, but I think it wasn't until Witcher. I think it's the first. Is that the first?
That well, at least it's the first game that they really were announcing. That was all.
So I'm curious. That's the reason why I bring it up is the fact that like I'm curious if does that mean Nintendo will start using these for
Well,
their
they don't
games?
need to.
Yeah, they don't need.
They don't
to.
need
Nintendo
to.
doesn't need
They
it.
haven't even gone over 16 gigs yet with the game.
I'm
It's
saying it
crazy.
doesn't hurt. I'm just saying if you have the ability to.
The question is,
Well,
will
I mean,
Nintendo
I don't think so.
start cutting some of the prices? You know, taking some of the hits, so these companies can put their
I
game.
don't know. Nintendo.
Yeah, they
they're,
Well,
should
we
be
don't even
doing
need
that
to
type
do.
of stuff.
they're
We
in
don't
the
even know
driver's
how
seat
much-
though. Like
We
they-
also don't know what they're doing with the 32 gig ones. Like, are they taking the hit on that, or are people? Because only Witchers used it. So, like, are the 32 gigs still doing?
I'm gonna guess that was the
expensive?
deal.
Yeah,
Oh, like-
it kind of feels that way because again, they were really promoting that it's on a
I
card.
mean,
You know?
and to
Right.
be, I mean, this happens with a lot of late ports to any system, but like The Witcher's standard price, I want to say, is $20 on any other platform. So the Switch version being 60, that might have a Switch tax in it. We don't even know. Like just because you think it's a $60 game, but when you look at all the other versions, you know, basically $20, you can get the
50
complete
at
edition.
Walmart.
And yeah. So it's like they might have normally maybe they were going to sell it for 40 or something, and they said no, we're going to put it on 32. We need to bump it up. So we don't know. It's kind of if it was like a brand new game, we'd maybe have a better idea.
I guess the reason why I bring it up because like, why would Nintendo even be interested in buying them, considering like none of their main games go that high?
Well, they probably are going to supply them to the have them allocated so that when if somebody a third party needs them, they'll have them.
So like they're like demos in a way. Like, oh, here's a 64 gig card if you want to test out.
Well, yeah, it's
putting a
not.
game
You
on.
can't just expect the publisher to have to order a 64 gig because if they ordered like 100,000, it's going to be more expensive per than if Nintendo put in an order for like 1 million, let's say. And
Well,
then
yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know how it's gonna work, but that's what I would assume. So that the cost would be less, so that a game like Doom Eternal, I'm gonna say is gonna definitely need at least the 32 gig cart, I'd like to think they wouldn't continue the download the other half of the game type stuff.
Yeah, I guess the question is, do you think they're going to use the 32 gig cart though? Like for when it comes out, do you think it's going to be 32 gigs? Or do you think they're going to do the download the other half of the game nonsense again?
It's hard to say because The Witcher kind of set a precedent. I don't know. We haven't really had any other games since then. I don't remember what Mortal Kombat 11 situation was with the Switch physical.
Partial download.
Was it?
Yeah, that's why I didn't buy that shit.
It was. I don't even remember. I have it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm
It is a
pretty sure
partial download.
I think it was. I remember seeing it on a box art that was that came out
Wait.
this year.
For what? I
Mortal
missed
Kombat
You bought it,
11.
you don't remember?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember downloading.
no, Mortal Kombat. I think you had to download something
Let me
for.
see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check my box real quick.
I know this specifically because I was going to buy it. I was excited, and I saw that download.
That was the final
Nope,
straw.
that was it.
And like Visor Grunt mentioned,
Oh,
Nintendo.
yeah, you know why? Because it's not that big border thing anymore. It's on the tiny.
Yeah,
little-
they
Mhm.
shrunk it.
Oh, they shrunk it. Yeah, they don't make it look as bad now, but it's
which
still there.
which honestly, I mean, download aside, that looks way better. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, looks better.
But the Switch has sold enough. Nintendo's made enough money on, like we're talking about Black Friday deals. We probably should have been focused more on, all right, let's like what T's been saying and everyone's been saying, like take a little bit of like split the cost of these bigger carts, so because it's only hurting the consumer to have to download all this shit and they have to buy an SD card because your internal memory isn't even enough. Like they got to do something to entice these third parties, just put their whole game and get the bigger cart. It's
especially
ridiculous.
those certain games where it's just. I mean, to be fair, there's certain games where I think it's just ridiculous. Wasn't it like Mega Man Legacy?
That
was it bad?
Yeah,
also-
the collection.
yeah,
like,
the-
they had to
Legacy
use like a
collection.
4 gig card or something.
that's
That was just
Capcom
ridiculous.
bullshit there.
But
Capcom and they own some separate shit.
yeah.
So it's like, it really is just kind of like, I don't want to say greedy because maybe they don't even think about it like that, but to put it on the consumers, on the 40 million people that bought a Switch to have to buy an SD card to buy a lot of these third-party games that have additional download, to me that's just kind of, they need to figure it out. And Nintendo isn't the only one to blame here. There's some situations where it's just the third parties obviously being cheap, because when some smaller games, some smaller studios and publishers can do it on a 16 gig cart and they don't have anything to download, then these bigger companies should be able to do it. But at the same time, Nintendo needs
Yeah, but then you look at smaller companies doing it, like the Trying, whoever that studio, that publisher is, they have 1 through 3 on the cart and 4 on a separate cart, and they have it,
yeah.
and they're not upcharging anything.
But it's funny because what is it? Isn't the Resident Evil collection like that? Like one of them? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it
I think
Every
Is
one
it-
of them have something you have to download.
what
It's
did
like-
was there a 5
like-
and 6 collection? But
Yeah, there was a 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5,
collection.
and 6, and you got to download 5 and 6.
Yeah, I
That's
believe
what it
that's
was?
what it was. Let me.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
I
real quick.
felt like 4 was a bonus to buying the 5 and 6 collection. So I don't.
Well,
Yeah,
they
they've
have
done
so
it-
many versions. There's
Yeah.
definitely a version that 4 is on the cart, and then the other 2 you download.
Let me
And the other
see.
2 are very decent size.
Let me
so it's
see.
just like I
Okay.
said, and I don't know if it was a juice opinion or not. The fact that Nintendo has, at the very least, hasn't increased the internal memory at this point, like that's just something you can do, and you don't have to. You just fucking. It's just the new Switch. Like it has 64 gigs of memory or something. It just
They could have did that with the new one. Yeah.
without a price increase or anything. Just like that.
Yeah, actually, T is right. The 4 is on the card, and the other 2 are downloads.
I know my shit.
Because Resident Evil Revelations 2 is like.
Yeah, isn't
That's
the
like that's almost 30 gigs if I remember. It's between 20 and 30.
Oh, because they also have the Origin collection. That's the other,
Right, the Origin collection. That's the other one.
which I think is
The first one is on the cart, and the other 2 you download. It's the same thing.
No, if you import the Japanese version, is not
Well, yeah, you got to do.
for some reason.
Yeah, and then the Japanese version, it's all on the cart. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, because we're coming up 3 months away from year 3 completed on the Switch, and the fact
Yeah.
that there's we're still dealing with like having to download part of the game and stuff. Like
We're still dealing with a lot of shit. I got into a little
Yeah.
Twitter war
I seen
last
that.
night about.
I heard about it. I didn't get to
Online
see it.
features where you're just saying at least give us what was available on
Yeah,
for free
that's too much.
as a starting
No.
point.
You can't go that far by giving us what we had
Well,
for
no
free.
one bought the Wii U, so of course that stuff didn't help the Wii U sales. It's like,
What the fuck? What, you're making a totally different, stupider
Yeah,
argument.
like what does that to do anything? Like
I
I
don't
don't
understand.
It's
just,
so stupid.
just like I see in a Discord discussion, I see some people defending stuff that's like, I don't know if dude was joking. Maybe he was being sarcastic. He didn't do any winky face. He's like, "Oh, I'm confident the next system's gonna have all the features. It's gonna have messaging, all this stuff."
But
And
we
I'm
said that when we coming out of the Wii U. We said we're confident the NX is gonna have at least. Yeah, okay.
honestly, like, I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't buy the next system or anything. But if Nintendo starts from scratch again and doesn't, by the end of the Switch's life, doesn't have like the groundwork laid, where you just buy the next system, you log in to your Nintendo account. Like, if they don't have that, like, that's going to be a huge blow for me, as far as I'm concerned. Is just like, just the principle of it, you know, really? It's like, really?
You're all buddy with Microsoft. Ask them how to do this shit. Like, if it's that difficult, call them up and say, hey, we need some help with this.
Because if it's
mean,
backwards
goddamn.
compatible, like, with the Switch, their next system, but, like, save files don't come over and stuff, it's like, don't even make it backwards compatible at that point. Like, they just gotta.
I
gotta
say
do something.
prepare yourself, boys. Prepare
Well,
yourself.
I'm already prepared. I mean, I'm not expecting anything. And that's sad. That's not how it should be.
Yeah, and it's a damn shame, especially though that whole backwards, compatible stuff. Definitely.
Then the next
Totally
system
agree.
launches with Breath of the Wild 3. We're all like,
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't think
Yeah.
when you're developing your next console. You can't be completely in a box. You have to think about what you're doing now, how you can possibly bring some stuff over. Like, you can't think in these separate boxes when you're making these consoles. Yeah, you could do that with the handhelds. But I mean, there was more backwards compatibility on the handheld
Yeah,
from DS to. I mean, Jesus Christ.
That was one of the
I
biggest.
think that's one of the main problems with Nintendo, I feel, where when they make a new console, they don't look at what they did good previously. They just scratch it and they make something
Yeah, they
completely
start
new,
from
not even
scratch.
thinking about what they did before.
And those days got to be over. Like,
I mean, I get that to a degree. I get how that works for you. Like, because that like makes you super creative. Because if you're tied to the last system, you have to think about how you're going to integrate that. I get it. I totally understand that way of thinking. That's the artist thinking. Like, I don't want to be tied to what I did before. Totally get that. But you're a business as well. Like, you are all consumers here, and we'd like to bring our stuff. That way we won't be crying about you trickling out Super Nintendo NES games, because we have all our shit
Every
from our last
generation,
system.
yeah.
we'll see what Sony does, because they've never. This will be their first time. Well, they did backwards compatibility before, but PS2 had memory cards and shit, and that was before like really online. So the PS3, if you wanted to put in a PS1 or PS2 game, you had to start over. Like, there was no carrying it over, and that actually was the main reason I didn't play any of my original Xbox games on the 360. I was like, oh, I can play these games, sweet. I put them in. I'm like, oh shit, I got to start over. Like, I don't really want to. If anything, I wanted to do a new game plus or something on one of them. I'm like, I'm not starting this game from scratch. And then I never played them. And if Sony does that with the PS5, then I'm gonna be like, well, what the fuck? Like, because like God of War, I started a new game plus. I'm definitely not gonna finish it. But maybe a year from now, I might say, you know what, I'm gonna go back and finish that up. If my save file is gonna be there, that would be a huge incentive. If not, you might as well not even have backwards compatibility, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, for me at least, like I know that I actually literally today I was just kind of booting up the Xbox One again and I was putting in some 360 stuff, and that does transfer the whole save file.
I know. I had my
super cool.
Trials Evolution. I downloaded it when that became available late this summer. And I'm
Talk
like,
to your account.
and I was just expecting to start over. In this case, I was like, all right, I'll start over because I want to play all the tracks again. And it had all my it just had all my progress. I didn't even know the 360 did that, like saved it on the cloud. So I was like, shit.
I was reminded when I was capturing footage from my last video. I was like, oh shit, I need Xenoblade footage. I can't be fucked with my old Wii, And then I went, oh no, wait there. All the saves transferred from my Wii to my Wii U, didn't they? I plugged in my Wii U, checked in Xenoblade, and there was my 100+ hour file. I was like, yeah, let's
Yeah, it did.
go.
It was a lengthy process, but it worked.
Well, I was
Yeah,
playing.
but I say that I love that process with all the Pikmin and stuff. It's fucking brilliant. I love it.
I'm going through like the Gears games again, and I was playing. I had started probably a year ago on on Gears 1 on my 360. I was playing it a year ago, and then I was like, well, I can play it on my Xbox One now, so I put it in, played on Xbox One, and said, oh, you were playing Gears on Xbox 360 last time you logged in, and it just let me know that, and I was like, that was it. All my save from the 360, from the console, because it's all tied to your account, the saves.
Yeah.
And I remember getting really freaked out because my hard drive failed, or it had some kind of weird error on my Xbox One. And I was like, oh man, I'm screwed. It's like somebody was like, no, all you got to do is just reinstall and put in your account, and all your saves will come back. I'm like, what? That was like foreign. I could not believe that was happening.
Yeah,
And I missed that on my Nintendo consoles. I wish that was a thing.
I think it's really only Xbox that does that for right now, to be honest.
Well,
Which
like
I give
said,
it. I give it huge credit.
But I
for
didn't
that.
even have Xbox Live or anything. I was expecting you had to be.
No,
Live
same
to
for me. Yeah,
Nope.
I didn't.
I
Well,
was
you had
like-
live, you just weren't paying for gold, just to clarify, because there was a miscommunication.
That's what I mean. I wasn't paying for it.
So, like I said, this will be Sony's their first chance to do backwards compatibility in a modern setting where cloud saves exist and stuff.
Yeah.
They need to do it. And, Clock, you were talking about the Wii U,
We got cloud saves.
the
on
Wii U,
Switch.
yeah, the Wii U to Wii, that's the same process as buying a new, if you let's say you bought a PS4 Pro, and you just connected them with the Ethernet cord, and you transfer all your stuff over from PS4, from your base model to the Pro, and it's like an hour-long process or something. That's basically what the Wii U did with the Wii. It was just like,
And that's another thing. That's the point. Nintendo has done this.
mm-hmm.
So you're complaining about me complaining about not having this stuff. Nintendo has done this before. My Wii to my Wii U transition was beautiful, and it was nothing. Obviously it took time, but all my stuff came over. All my saves, all my games from Wii came right over to my Wii U, no problem.
I'm not
Pikmin
complaining about
animation was
the
gone.
time because the animation was gold, but like I said,
And the animation
even though it was like a long
Little
transferring
Pikmin.
process, they made it entertaining, and it was there. It worked, and there you
Except
go, on my
for
Wii.
if it failed or something, it was a one-time thing. Your Wii was wiped. And
Yeah,
I
you're
know
done.
somebody had
Oh,
the
it's-
process got fucked up and they lost everything. I remember
man,
seeing a
that's
video
always
on
gonna
that. But
It's always going to happen.
That's gotta be devastating.
so that's better than nothing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now that the Switch, they have cloud saves for most of the games, except for
yeah.
a couple. Like, you got to follow through with that now, and it's like, yeah, it's nice to know that my saves are backed up if something happens. But if I'd like to see them not just be tied to the Switch for life, But they still don't have like a full account system implemented. So you just
Right.
you have your console nickname, you link that to your My Nintendo account. They made you do that before the online happened. But I'm still not I still don't just if I got another Switch, I couldn't just log. I don't know. Somebody have to correct me. I don't think you can just buy a new Switch and just log into link it to your Nintendo account.
You
I don't
can.
know.
Your clouds will
Yeah.
saves will come over, but not everything
Yeah.
You could do that.
is cloud saved. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
but you-
already does work with if
Yeah,
you
that
got a
works.
new Switch. Okay,
Yeah, that works.
Well, that's good.
so that's nice.
Well, now
only
that
was
you
But
the
to be
cloud
fair,
saves.
you can still do system transfers to other switches to get
Mhm.
the. It's because of
Yeah.
there are chunks of games that aren't cloud savable. Actually, I think
For
Animal
sure.
Crossing is another example of that.
I don't
you
get
just
that.
all
at
you got to do is take that little Nintendo
Animal
folder.
Crossing has a specific reason, though.
Yeah, but it's a
But I know
dumb
what you mean.
reason.
It's dumb. It's
No,
dumb.
but it's true. Animal Crossing works in a specific real-time with real-time
Man.
system, and considering all the stuff people used to do in the previous games,
Fucking-
with what they're trying to do with the Switch, is trying to prevent that from happening.
Well,
And they're
once
not
you-
going to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
it-
the- my
it's
issue
not-
is-
it's not their
The
fucking
issue
problem.
is that you're punishing the entire fan base for
Mhm.
what
In
some
the end
people.
of the day, like,
It's the
if they don't want
same-
their time travel and all that, it's not their fucking problem.
Every
Let them do
system
their
gets
shit.
cracked. Every system gets
Yeah.
cracked. Move on.
They said
Like,
the same
don't
shit
waste
when they
your
were
time.
talking about Splatoon 2. Just saying, yeah,
For
Yeah,
cheating.
you want people to fucking cheat on
People are
Splatoon
running
2,
around,
you want
flying
people to
around that
fucking
map. Like, what the fuck? What is going on?
And it's stupid because games like there's a bunch of ongoing games like Overwatch and like people play these things all the time,
Yeah,
and they do it. Like
right.
I don't understand
no-
why
doesn't make
Splatoon's
sense.
different, but I don't know. Either way, the one thing I'm glad we kind of got into this discussion because in the Discord there was a couple of Nintendo fans who were like questioning. I think it was me and Alex were saying like, yeah, Xbox Live, you don't have to pay for cloud saves. Like it's just there. And
Right.
someone thought that Xbox Live meant that you were paying for gold, like it was gold. They didn't know
Oh,
the difference
yeah, okay.
between Xbox
That's why you
Live.
clarified it.
To be
and
fair,
Xbox Live
I've
Gold.
made that confusion before.
But we just repeated, we're like, yeah, it's free. Like you messaging, you can message your friends,
Yeah.
you can.
Only
have
thing you
your
can't do
safe-
is chat.
Play the cloud saves. You can't play multiplayer, and you can't do voice chat, and it's like and party chat,
Right.
and it's
Yeah,
like
Nintendo took the Sony approach with cloud saves because Sony's the same way, where you have to pay for Plus in order to get cloud
yeah.
saves.
Right.
But you also have other methods on the PS4.
yeah,
get-
that's
to get
the
your
thing is that you can back your shit up yourself, and that's
Yeah.
why I don't give Sony as much as flack, because they at least give you an option to back your shit up onto a.
Yeah, I have mine. I backed my PS4, and not since I got Devil May Cry, but I had it backed up. It's a longer process than I wish. With just I have a flash drive, and then that's if my system got crashed, then I wouldn't have
save
any.
your ass.
It will save the games. Some of the games I had before when I did the backup, but I've played two other games since then. That would have been that my progress would be lost. So
That's still better than nothing.
it's still I'm like just with Animal Crossing, it's like, yeah, it'd suck if your cloud save was a day or two old or something and you had to go back, but still it's better than starting over. and
Yep.
So I don't know, it's just like there's just a lot of things I'd like to see like become standard across all three. Like as much as we bash Microsoft and stuff, you got to give them credit on that very thing.
Well, they-
That stuff I think is super
They made that a
impressive.
priority day one, so that's why they're so good.
I mean,
at it.
They started on the 360, so they've been doing it
But on
for a
the
while.
original Xbox.
I was
Oh,
literally blown away when I downloaded Trials Evolution and my save file was there. I was like, how the fuck? How I didn't even know the 360 saved my save files like that. Like that is, I mean that's you could say it's future proofing back then. I mean because I hadn't played
It
that
is.
game in 4 years.
I remember when it got updated to 360 for cloud saves. I was a youngin and I didn't remember. I don't know what that meant.
I haven't turned my 360 on in probably 2-3 years. So I was like, when did that save file get uploaded? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like
No, dude, it's been literally years. Like it's been years ago. That's why I mean. Like I was younger, and I remember seeing that update, and I'm not knowing what the fuck it meant. I'm like, I guess it's saved. I don't know. And now, luckily, I can just go play Black Ops 1 on the Xbox One and have everything transferred over and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I get annoyed. I know I do, by the constant updates and stuff. But that's because they're continually trying to make that shit better. Work on it.
I've never seen an update on my Xbox.
I see them.
It-
Oh, I see it all the fucking time.
Really?
I see them all the time. I get so annoyed.
Every time I turn it on, it's just there's no like, oh, gotta download an update. It's just
You may
comes
have
on.
it set to automatic, which I don't do anymore because that was. I mean, maybe they fixed it now, but that was the thing that was called in that hard drive era.
Oh, okay. I can hear
so
my
I turned it
hard-
off.
I hear my system making noise a lot of the times when it's
Yeah,
off.
it's probably just automatically downloading it.
Well, again, that
Giving it
might have been
sleep mode.
mine. Like I don't know why, but my Xbox One, I was very mad at it this past week that I actually wanted it to turn on and play a game on it, which was a while. I haven't done it in a while, and and all of a sudden, for some reason, that shit was like unplayable and it would not download anything. And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And so I had to factory reset everything, and still nothing worked. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And so I had to, I bought a USB so I could offline update it. You know what I mean? So I could do an
Wow.
offline update.
Yeah,
And then-
just put it all there.
And no joke, I turned it on today, and it just magically worked. It updated and everything without the fucking offline update. I'm like, I bought this fucking USB for nothing.
That shit was sleeping like R2D2.
Yeah.
Well, did you have it unplugged or something for a while?
No, I don't understand. I was very confused.
Unconnected from, maybe it was disconnected from the internet and didn't.
But that's the thing is, dude. I mean, I reconnected a million times. I restarted. I unplugged it, plugged
You gonna
it.
make him choke that console out again? You better chill out.
I factory reset it, and then I literally factory reset it, and for that, it has to update in order to actually continue to play a game. I'm like, oh my fucking god! And so like I was panicking. I'm like, this shit is like brick, dude. And then all of a sudden, a few days later, when my USB comes in, that I was gonna offline do it. It just magically worked. I'm like, are you kidding me? And so, I mean, I played a couple rounds of zombies.
All this to play some fucking zombies.
Well, no, I mean, again, I wanted to, like, it just sucks because I remember, like, my 360 right now, for some reason, is kind of, I guess it's feeling its age because I guess the fan isn't working as good anymore.
Which one do you have?
The black one.
Oh, the slim.
So you have the
2010.
quote unquote slim, not very slim.
Well, I
But
mean, it's called the slim, but I
yeah,
get
I
what you're
know.
saying.
Well, it is almost a decade old, to be fair, but still, even then, because I've always treated it good, but for some reason now, like, if I don't start it with a fan, like a genuine fan blowing at it, it gets very loud, like that. And I mean,
it's a poorly made console. It's just
it
just
well,
is.
even if I play like a regular Xbox game, original Xbox game, it still goes like, oh my god, it's gonna explode. and it's so loud to the point where it's like unplayable until I have to blast the volume on my TV. Like, it's really loud. So if not, I'm like, well, I'd rather just play the Xbox One. But all the games kept saying it doesn't work on Xbox One, doesn't work on Xbox One, when I know it does. But it had to be connected to online so it could update to play. There's a lot of complicated stuff. And then finally, but here I am finally.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned the whole fan noise because when I'm playing God of War, I've learned my fucking PS4 Pro revs up like
Yeah,
a
you
goddamn.
got the day one or the initial version, where it's like twice the decibels, like twice as loud as the later one.
That's the first time I've ever heard that shit go off like that. So I cut on the game Saturday and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh yeah.
Is there a car?
Resident Evil 2 was the loudest I heard my.
I didn't hear it at all during Resident Evil 2.
I never really hear my PS4 that much.
See, I have the Pro, but God of War, it's a different fucking experience, man. And then I have it on my desk, so my monitor is shaking a little bit, and I can see it.
Really?
It's a little aggravating. I'll be honest with you, because this is like.
That's
Yeah, I mean, if it's really that loud, that's
I
pretty
can
annoying.
literally cut it on right now, and you might be able to hear it from here.
That's
Don't
why
get me
when
started, man.
I was
Use the stories
I
on
was
mine.
I was messaging the guy selling the Pro. I'm like, all right, show me the back. I need to know what model it is. What is it, somebody steal yours? I go, no. I said, I need the newest one because the other one's twice
That
as
is a
loud.
fair comment, though.
And he goes,
Did
oh,
somebody
okay.
steal yours?
And he took a picture, and I'm like, yeah, you can tell because of the way the power cords, it's the figure 8 style instead of the 3-prong. And it's
Somebody stole mine, and I decided that I was gonna search.
I think it's yours. I think
I
you
was
did
gonna-
it.
I'm gonna search. What is it called?
Facebook.
Craigslist or whatever.
Yeah,
it's called.
Facebook Marketplace.
I'm gonna search the whole marketplace to find it. Good
And
luck.
it's almost like he's admitting, oh, well, I just got this from someone for
I
this.
stole this bitch, but it ain't yours.
Yeah, I don't care. The thing looks brand new. I don't care where he got it.
It fell off a truck, man.
Controllers, the nubs, or like the analog sticks, were still rough, like brand new. Like
Oh yeah,
I'm guessing had under 5 hours of use.
that's crazy.
So, but anyway, getting back to somebody in the chat, Bribe,
Where?
he says he don't care much about online, but no messaging is BS, and that was kind of what we were talking about in the Discord. Like, you can't even message your friends, and you could do those for no additional charge on the PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah.
And it's like that to me. It's where it's like there's no defense.
We're not asking for much. I'm not asking for fucking Xbox Live features, gold.
I'm asking for
Can I have
bronze.
messaging? Can I have messaging and can I be able to save my shit? That's all I'm asking for. Is that too much to ask for? I don't think so.
It is, my guy.
I don't think
no.
that's too much to
I
ask
mean,
for.
maybe
I
if,
just want a little bit of bronze. That's all I'm caring about.
maybe if it had messaging,
worst-
then we'd be complaining about something else. But at this point,
Oh,
3
I
years
know I
in,
wouldn't.
I should be able to message somebody on my friends list and just be like, share a screenshot and say, hey,
My so-called
this game's
friends.
awesome.
Like
It's
the
like,
worst
can you talk to
part
my
about that
friends?
shit, it's because like what I said earlier, is like they had Miiverse, which worked. It's like learn from that, integrate it. But now they're like, nah, you don't need Miiverse. Or you want the messaging system, but look, Rocket League has messaging systems. Like, bitch, you didn't make that.
yeah. I mean, it's so.
Miiverse is too slow, man. It was too slow.
If a game can just put it into the software, it's like, how hard would it be to put on an OS level? I don't.
Right? It's,
don't know.
Oh god.
And it's like that would be almost your game invite. Just send them a message. Hey, you want to play Smash? Like, if you don't want to
Exactly.
put game invites in there, like messaging
Yeah, you
kind
can
of
save
solves
yourself that trouble.
that. And it's just like,
It is on the OS level now. They just don't fucking use it.
well, a
Oh, you're
place
sitting there.
the
Just-
invite system isn't, but to see your invites is OS level. It's still game based on if a game utilizes that feature. That's the OS level is just a place to see where your game invites are if you didn't hit the home button in time.
Gee.
What about
So.
your trash?
I wonder what even brought that.
And I don't understand. Blonsey, I'm not going to get into this too much, but you're not paying $60 for PS Plus for the games you're getting. Like, if you had already, if the PS Plus game of the month is a game you already own, it's not like you're wasted your money on PlayStation Plus. That's like, I guess
bonus.
unless you bought PlayStation Plus just for the games,
Which, to be honest, a lot of people do.
maybe they
though.
do. Maybe they
Yeah,
do.
'Cause I know personally.
Because they
my
don't buy.
friends-
They don't buy games. It's just, I'll
But
just get
$60 a
free shit
year
and play
for
that.
how many games in a year? And maybe if
It's a
a
lot of
few of
games.
them are ones you already own, come on, dude. That's
And they're
just.
not. They're not 30 years old either.
Would you rather have that or
Yeah,
NES
because I
games?
still wanted to buy I still wanted to buy Neo, and like 2 months ago or some shit, you got that for free.
It was
That
for
game
free.
is barely a year old, I
Right.
think.
That's deep. Right. You can't compare the types of games you're getting because 30-year-old games.
I mean,
next
that's
to
like if Nintendo
2-3-year-old
now
games.
would give you Breath of the Wild, and even that would be outdated already.
Or Mario
considering
Odyssey
Neo,
or
I think.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like the new Zelda is coming out, in a little
I don't know if
while.
it's up to
Like,
that level, but
Can we get some GameCube games?
Well, we
You know,
like
like, can we
we
get
like,
those?
Well, what are
free?
the
Is that
three-
Too much?
what are the PlayStation? I know Horizon's one
What for like
for,
right now?
on PlayStation
Isn't it,
Plus.
isn't it Horizon is it Last of Us or Uncharted? It's one of those.
Wait, did
I
they
don't
change it then? Because last I saw it was something.
Well,
completely
it's
different.
different every month. They always
Oh, I'll
update.
check.
I think
I'll
Horizon,
check
but
right
I mean, so you're just playing to play online and chat. What are you getting on the Switch for your 20? You get to play online. That's it.
That's
Like,
it.
You got Super Mario Brothers.
No,
and
but
some
somebody
NES
told
games.
me no. I don't even play online. I appreciate the NES and SNES games. Well, I'm like, what if I don't give a shit about those?
That should be a
And
separate
you own,
thing.
and I have them all on the Wii U. That basically
I already have all that
except for
shit. I
some
already
of them.
have all the Super Nintendo NES games I want to play. I already got them. So that is no value to me.
It's like the only reason I buy it myself is just so I can play with friends, and I feel like I shouldn't even have to pay for that technically.
Yeah.
I forgot that you can play online with those. I mean, which games actually have our co-op that I haven't tried any since the
Right.
first
That's
batch.
another thing. It's like I thought that was exciting at first when we first heard about it, but I'm like, it's not really for those games. What would be
Yeah, they
exciting?
put a lot of single player games and a lot of take turn multiplayer.
Yeah.
Have they? Do they have Super Mario Kart online?
now.
Yeah. I don't know if it's online,
But it's
but
on. It's on everything that's on the Super NES or NES thing is online.
You know what would be exciting?
But the game, not every game.
I don't
handles
think
it the right
but Mario
way.
Kart split screen. I don't think it's. I don't know. We have to test it, but I don't know how that works.
Give
I
me
know, I
Mario
remember
Kart
testing-
64 online. Give me.
I'm saying. I guess
Wave
the
Race.
okay, but I guess the argument is more so that like for the $20 a year, even though they don't mean anything to like you personally. It's not like the online the NES games or Super NES games don't have any value.
To
Like-
me, that.
Well,
to,
I
they don't-
understand.
To me,
I
So,
understand.
okay.
I can understand that
No,
argument.
you're right. I know what you're saying, but the thing is, well, how about you charge the people who want it and give me my shit for free, like I had before on the Wii and the Wii U?
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want those games. They do nothing for me. I have yet to even start that app up because I don't have
Yeah,
any
same
use
here.
for it.
I never started up once. I don't even have it downloaded.
So now you are forcing me to pay for something I don't want to get something I
And
do want.
I think the main
That you see it
point
for free.
of that whole discussion was someone saying, "I wish I could just on PlayStation. I wish I could just pay for the online. I don't need to chat." Well, the same could be said for Switch. I wish I could just pay $5 a year to play online or 10, and I don't need the NES and Super NES games. That's
But, I mean,
Right.
I would gladly do that for both. To be honest, like if I would like that an option on Switch and on Xbox and Sony. To be honest,
but
'Cause, like,
really, I
don't-
mean, at this point,
The thing that makes this so stupid is that Nintendo goes to all this effort. You know, oh, we're like retranscribing whatever the fuck you want to call it, Star Fox 2. You know, you're getting all these games. Oh, you got like Super Nintendo games now. You got Nintendo. They put all this time and effort, and there's a bitch at a goddamn messaging system. It takes you half the time and effort that it took you to put all that shit on there.
yeah, it obviously takes some kind of effort to put these games on there because otherwise, why aren't they all there? Like, there's got to be some work
Because
involved.
they've got nothing else, and they have to trickle this shit out and make it seem like
I guess
it's something.
that could be it.
That's
Also, I think if you notice some of the games they have been doing have been, I think, primarily from the SNES Classic and the NES
Yeah,
Classic.
basically.
right.
And
And
if-
you put this system out, and you have all these games already.
Yeah, Bluntsy, what you got to say about that? Imagine you bought a NES and Super NES Classic, and now you're paying $20
here you
a
go
year
again.
to play those same games. Like, how do it work? You could use this argument against all three companies.
Right.
At least, like with Microsoft, you could say, yeah, what am I paying? If everything, all these other stuffs, you don't even have to pay for. So really, you're just paying for party chat and to play online on Xbox. Like, that's really all you're paying for. I don't know how the streaming works because it's got a. I don't know if you can do that without gold. Probably not.
I think I made this comparison.
Well,
when-
Streaming?
I will. I
Yeah.
will say also.
Didn't they? I can't remember.
Using the
I
built-in
haven't
one.
used it, so I don't. But they used to have it locked.
I used
But
it when I
think they-
had gold.
I think they stopped. I think they stopped locking like Netflix and shit behind.
Well,
yeah,
one-
that was during this era
Yeah.
yeah.
when they did that.
Well, one.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No. Go ahead, Robert. I'm looking up something.
No, it was just a quick little thing that was a little side because I remember when I went on Xbox that did you guys see that now they have that whole, I mean, I don't know when they added this, but the dashboard now has a whole mixer
Yeah.
option, and it's literally on the main front page, and the first thing that it recommends, dude, was Bayonetta 2, and I'm like, we're on Xbox, dude. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Like, it's genuinely weird to me that, but hey, I
Right.
mean, fuck it.
Nintendo getting everything out of that
Yeah.
deal.
But they talk about Bayonetta 2. I'm like, I mean, okay, I guess, yeah. I mean, we're on Xbox One, but all right. I found that funny, but I keep going.
I just wish Mario Maker 2 was online, was actually playable for when
that's
you're paying
honestly,
for
it's the one
online
that's got no
and a game is unplayable online. That's unacceptable for first
Well,
party.
you guys begged for it. You got it. Now you can't complain about it.
The thing with the Super Mario Maker 2, that half of the issue could be fixed if you would have those little indicators that see people's strength signals where you can see if they because if you have 4 people that are connected via LAN adapter, you don't have that much lag, really. It does it pretty good. But if you have only one person that's on Wi-Fi, it almost fucks everything up
Bring
already.
the whole shit down.
But my only
Yeah.
problem with the Mario Makers, even if you like, you don't feel that much like. To me, like even that much like, you feel that it's so different compared to like where you're just playing a normal 2D, and then you're like, "Ooh, I'm playing 2D online." You feel the difference. Like it's night and day to me, and I just feel it's super unplayable. That Mario Maker 2 multiplayer, I just can't.
It's
I can't.
unplayable. It literally is unplayable.
Trying to see.
Hey, everybody. Nintendo fans
What
here.
the fuck?
I'm just looking like. I mean, to me, I don't know. For me personally, the one that would get me to pay for it is primarily Nintendo, but that's also partially because of console buys.
Well, I mean,
Well, yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, like in the end of the day, like the only online games that I want to play are like Smash and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna be paying their like.
But I
service.
will agree that every I think that Nintendo's is obviously the most flawed of the big 3. Like I don't go.
Yeah,
against
that's
that.
no surprise. There's no.
I just-
There's no debating.
There's no
I
debate.
guess,
there, right?
I guess my thing is that at least I don't feel like when I look at the $20 a year, I'm not happy about it. But at least I can be like, well, at least it's not $60, or at least
they
Well, they made it $20.
They
That's
can't
exactly why they made it $20 a year.
They couldn't charge 60. I mean,
Oh, what do you
They
mean they
can't.
couldn't? They could totally
Yeah, they
do
could,
it.
and they'd have nobody on that shit except for the.
They
complete
could easily
shills.
do it. No, well, I mean, some people would still pay for it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that those are complete corporate shills.
Well, the one thing they got, though, the one thing they do that none of the other companies do is let you do the family plan thing. Because I thought I was gonna be able to do that on PlayStation. I thought maybe me and Terrell could split PlayStation.
Oh, you
Plus.
couldn't?
No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
I guarantee.
Wait, how does it work on? I don't know if you remember.
It
But
used to be able to work on the PlayStation. On the PS3, you used to be able to share accounts.
also,
Well,
it
you
You
changed.
could
you'd have
I
to.
could like I shared account with my friend. I download whatever he bought. I could play it, stuff. But they stopped doing that when they realized so many people were doing it, and obviously they were losing a lot of sales from
They
individual
should do
games
that
and
in the
stuff.
beginning. People were going to do that shit.
Yeah,
So
but that
Sony
was.
did used to do it, and they cut it off. Yeah.
But that was like being able to play the games they own. This would just be being able to play online and like, but you have to have.
PS3 was free, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, that was it was more about you could log in and download their DLC and stuff and their games. It wasn't really about the online part because that was free online. So this is just, I think you have to. They're do it for, let's say they're thinking all in the same house, and even then you have to be like Terrell, if I had it under my name, you'd have to have your PS4 logged in under me and then be as like and then use a different profile like
So it's essentially like the game sharing thing that the Switch has, where like if I gave you my login information on Switch, you could technically play the games that I download. But the caveat is you had to stay connected online and you had to be on my account. And I couldn't be playing a game while you're playing a game on my account.
Yeah, something like that. It's
And
just,
if it wasn't for this family plan, bro, like, I'm sorry,
I
I'll see
wouldn't
y'all in
have it.
Fortnite. Like,
Yeah.
if y'all want to play me online, you have to play
Well, I mean,
Fortnite.
I will say,
Paying for this shit.
I think a big impact if Sony or Microsoft want to really, I think a big thing that could potentially dominate the next generation if they said, "Hey, we can have free online." I think
There's no way they're gonna do it.
that
no,
would
they're going
be-
to a paid subscription for everything.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no
all
way,
about
yeah,
I think that'd be
subscriptions.
They're going the
good,
opposite.
though. I think especially Microsoft, since they're always PC, again, PC is free online. They should be like, hey, guess what, guys? We're just having the Game Pass, but gold, as in terms of like online, is free. And I would be I'd be like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, I'd potentially actually buy a Series
See what
X.
they did
will-
instead though was they do Game Pass Ultimate, which all it does is now you're paying $5 a month for extra on top of Game Pass, which is Xbox Live Gold is $60, so you divide that by 12, that's $5. So you're paying the same amount, but to make it sound like a deal, you get the full version, special editions of whatever games are on Game Pass. So Rocket League's one of them. I don't have to buy the DLC for all the, not every car is on there, but like any you could go out and spend $40 and get this version of Rocket League physically that has extra cars. You get that version's on Game Pass. The Gears of War Ultimate Edition version is the version you get on Game Pass. But Forza Horizon, on the other hand, because I already have that game downloaded, I already own it, I don't automatically get the Ultimate Edition with the season pass with the Lego stuff.
Really?
I would have to uninstall the version I bought and then reinstall it through Game Pass. Apparently, I was listening to Next Gen's podcast and they were saying that.
That seems a little. That's kind of.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I got the $1 Game Pass right now for 3 months.
I don't blame you. I was
it's to be fair, it's a deal. Like,
but
Yeah,
you don't.
when I picked it up, I was about to pick it up too. I might still pick it up.
But you got to, in order to get it, you have to have it have a credit card that's
Right, you got to lock your
for
card.
$45 because you gotta, in case that subscription runs out, you can't even get the $1 one, even though it only charges you $1. You have to have you'd have to buy a $50 Xbox Live card to put it because you have to cover $45 worth. So I went and bought a $15 Xbox Live card because I'm like, or Xbox, digital $15. I was like, I'm not putting my my credit card on there and I put the dollar and it's like, oh, well, how are you going to pay the remaining balance of whatever it was, 44 or 43 something? I'm like, what do you mean? It's $1. I got $15 on there. What the fuck? And no, I had to put my credit card on there and it's, if I don't catch it, it's going to charge me $45.
Take that shit off.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not going to automatically do it. It's going to automatically charge your monkey ass.
So I don't
Jesus
know.
Christ.
I don't know when it's going to
You
charge.
can't even do it through your system. You can't do it through your console. You have to go to the website.
So that's how they
Well-
get away with it because they know that there's people that are gonna, just like with Netflix, you're gonna do the free trial and then you're not gonna take your card off. You're gonna pay at least, and it's not even 1 month. It's a 3-month billing. You know, because you get 3 months of a free trial for $1 or whatever. So it's not gonna charge you the $15 for 1 month. It's gonna charge you 3 months worth on
Oh wow!
if it gets
Oh,
you. And it's like, yeah, I get it. You know, you can, if you just pay attention to what you're doing, you can easily it'll never charge your card. But the fact that they make it so they can trap you, it's just like, it just feels a little dirty.
I will.
Well,
I
that's
will
what. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I mean that's why. Like I again, literally today when I boot up and they, you know, the first thing they do is they promote the damn Game Pass to me, and like again, I was just looking for gold because I'm like, I like Black Ops 1 on PC, it's a lot of just servers, so like it's really just Nuketown, and you really can only play Nuketown. I'm like, I want to play other maps though, and so I mean, for $1 for 3 months, I'm like, I say fuck it and spend $1 to go back to Black Ops 1. But like the thing is that I was like, should I do it? I mean, I didn't do it right now, but I probably will. But then I just got to remember to do it because I don't want to look at my account, $45. Like, I don't want it.
That's like the worst thing that happens when especially like it happens with me with Amazon Prime a lot, where like I forget that I have that auto renewal shit on. So like it'll hit like January or February, like, oh, there's $120 gone. Oh,
Yeah,
what happened?
dude,
Oh,
that
that's right. I paid
Amazon's
for
the worst for that. They charged me. I did the 7-day trial or whatever.
Oh, did you?
And then at like day 5, I was like, yeah, I ordered everything I needed, got the free next day shipping. I'm just gonna cancel it before, and it already had charged my card like 4 days in out of a 7-day trial. It already charged me for the next month. It had to credit my credit card. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, guy? Like,
Actually, Juice, I'm glad you said that. It reminds me, I got to cancel my mother's free trial.
because I went to cancel it, and it has all these trick ways to try to keep you from canceling it. Where if you don't read it, you could click like yes or whatever. No, that's yes, I want to stay. So you got to really read it. You get through 3 screens of it.
So as long as you're educated, you
And then
should
it
be
goes,
fine.
we'll credit you that in 3 to 5 business days. I'm like, why did you fucking charge me? Like, I'm not even up 7 days.
We thought you were gonna stay.
I'm fucking.
It's like they all do these like double entendre shit. Like, no, are you sure you don't not want to leave and shit? Like, yes.
What is this, a voting booth?
Yes.
Which sucks
Ah,
because
Trying to
Uh,
trick me
yeah.
into picking some shit I don't want.
I gotta get Amazon Prime because the season 4 of The Expanse just came out Friday, and I'm like, or it came out a few days before that, and then I'm
You
like,
gotta get Netflix back, yo.
I've had Netflix.
Oh, you got Netflix. Okay.
I've had that.
I was gonna say,
I didn't make it a
The
whole
Witcher,
year.
woo!
I made it. I think there was 3 months where I didn't have it this year. That's the longest stretch I've had Netflix at one time. Was like the last ever since I got my TV in June. I re-signed up, so I've had it for 6 straight months now.
Best show I've seen all year.
I will,
It's pretty good.
I will casually say the one thing I have enjoyed from Nintendo, even though it's not online locked, like anybody can do it because it's free. I have enjoyed the reward system with the gold points more this gen than I did on. Now, granted, that's me personally. I understand people.
On the Switch?
Yeah, on the
It
Switch.
doesn't have anything to do with the
Buying digital shit?
subscription,
Yeah.
though, right?
I don't buy a lot of digital shit, so that
No, it
doesn't
works
do
with
anything for
physical.
me.
You just gotta press.
It works with physical too. Remember,
You just have to
earn
go-
It
coins.
works with physical games that were first party. No,
No, it works with other games.
Any game purchase.
have it.
Every physical game.
Yeah,
But you have to go to the game, hit start, and then select get rewards. Why does
it's
it
cumbersome.
just give it to you?
It's
I
not
don't
that
know.
cumbersome, yo.
I gotta
And
go
if
in there and press start and all this shit.
I mean,
Hey, listen, if it benefits me and I don't have to pay any money, I'm not sweating.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
got probably $15-20 over the last couple years in that using that.
It's not like I know it's not like insanely great, but it's one of those things where I'm like, it's a cool thing that I can do that I don't have to sweat it. It's
I
not
like
like-
it because after a while, usually I forget that, and then you bought a bunch of new games, and you're like, oh wait, and then all of a
They're
sudden you got like a
expired.
bunch of free indie games.
Oh, I
Or
do that
they're
and then it's
expired. Yeah, that
and
happens
shit.
to me a lot too.
That's
They
what
only,
happened to me.
I think they only expire like after a year though.
Yeah, but I've had games from like 2 years ago that I'm like, ah, shit, I forgot all about doing this.
Well, Robert, you're a
I've done it
millennial. You
myself.
can't be trusted.
We're having this discussion. I've already done this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Man, I've only bought a few
I only say that because
two
I
games
ended up,
this year for the where I did that for because it was Luigi's Mansion, Astral Chain, I think Yoshi's. Those might be the only 3 physical.
because I think that's how I got Mega Man for free. Is I used the I had like $14.
No, yeah, I think it's pretty damn cool because there's a lot of times where I'll be like, ooh, I got this much.
Well, yeah, I bought the Goose Game, and I was like, oh, I got like $5 in gold, and I was like, sweet. So I'm only paying $9 for this game. I still didn't feel like it was worth $9.
I knew I was waiting for it.
I was a little
like,
upset though. I wasted that 5. I wish I would have used it on
on a better game.
on a
Is that
different
what
game, but
Oh my God.
But it's like to me that's like it's a cool thing you can do that isn't tied to the online.
yeah, that's a
shit.
nice
No, that's
feature
cool,
that,
yeah.
that the Switch has. No one else is doing anything like
because
that.
because apparently Xboxes and PlayStations is tied into the Plus, but the way they describe it is you get exclusive discounts.
Weren't they supposed to pay me for playing games or some shit? Some kind of achievements? What happened? to
I'm not sure what the fuck that. I do remember that, but I
I
don't know.
remember that, and I was waiting for that. With that was sounding like cool achievements where you would get achievements, but then because of that you'd earn stuff. Like it was
Wasn't
crazy.
it Xbox that did that? That said that, or was it?
No, that was Nintendo. They were
That was
talking about
Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo was talking about
Nintendo.
Switch. Yeah,
People
I was
just
really
forgot
excited.
because people forgot all about that shit because of sales.
and that's why I was like,
Look at them sales.
At the
like, that makes
evolution of Miiverse.
Actually, not. It was weird because I was watching Shadow Fox's podcast. I want to say Saturday, and there was a cool. And I kind of wish they would use that accomplishment system. He reminded me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Accomplishments.
because I like the idea of you creating your own accomplishments and then them becoming like verified in game. Like if your friends created accomplishments and you did the same thing your friends did, it would actually treat it as like a legit achievement in
We're
the
never
sense
gonna
that
get that shit because we can't even get fucking achievements. So.
Well, no, see,
How we gonna get-
the
how we gonna
problem,
get
but the
accomplishments?
problem is Nintendo is that Nintendo can really lead the industry in a lot of shit and then like completely ignore the other half of it.
Well, I mean, again, for achievements, if it's achievements and they
Right,
give-
achievements mean like jack shit to me. But that's me.
I don't
I don't care about achievements
I
either.
don't care at
So.
all. But if they're
Well,
achievements-
personally, I like achievements, and I was winning because
You're
Nintendo
weak-minded,
before
that's why,
the Switch
Rick.
launched. Before the Switch launched, they said they were going to implement achievements and
Right.
actually link them to real life rewards, like how Club Nintendo used to work and that kind of shit. So I was
Right.
like, oh my god, they're gonna blow this achievement shit out of what? They're gonna innovate like fucking Nintendo. It's been 3 years, so I don't even have normal fucking achievements yet.
You know what I think a lot of that had to do with was the mobile games. You know, they had the mobile games and they had like more
I think it has to do
actual.
with the fact that they got on cheapskates.
Yeah.
like someone went in and hurt his feelings. and
I
shit.
agree with Richard.
Like, damn.
Because to me, I don't care about a messaging system, but I understand why people want it. So I feel about the achievements for me the way I know you guys care about the messaging system. I just like that kind of shit.
Yeah, I can respect that because I mean, like realistically, most of my friends I'm not gonna message over the messaging system.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
I literally won't message one person if I'm being honest.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like I can understand the value of it, even though I have no real intention to use it. But I understand the necessity for the casual.
I message people. People message me on Xbox all the fucking time.
Wanna why, T? Oh my God, you Mr. T from the Mr. T show. I love you, and shit.
no, the only reason I want, I would
Want to
like
play
to
some
have,
games?
I would like to have voice chat so I could talk shit with people. That'd be great. That's always a good time. But like,
You got voice chat, man. It's in Fortnite.
Yeah, no, we have voice chat.
shit,
It's just not in the way you want to use it at all.
Nah, that's good. That's good. I heard that was good.
I'm wondering, when are they gonna bring Call of Duty to damn Nintendo Switch?
I
There's no
think that's a whole nother issue because I think it's
Actually-
partially due to that they don't have a team that's willing to spend. I don't think they want to spend the money or resources to port it.
But
they
they'll
don't
make
have
goddamn- remember how many PS Call of Duties they made? Like, come on, man.
I'm saying they don't want to spend the money. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying they don't want to.
Is there a Call of Duty on the fucking Vita?
Yes,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
there's
mobile.
these guys.
They got a
There's a
mobile one.
Yeah. At this point, I
And
don't
there's a
think
mobile one, but
it's not an issue of like finances and shit. It's an issue of like, it's not like they can't do it.
but
It's
that's a
just, I
separate
don't
team
wanna-
though. That took a separate team to do that. That was
exactly. What did
that
they
was
do?
my point. Is that they got it on Vita, and Vita sold 10 copies. of the
Exactly.
console, and they still did it for Vita. Why don't do it for Switch?
Well, Hobbs on
That's
that
I'm
makes
45
telling you,
million
like,
plus.
if
That's
they
some-
don't want to bring the next Call of Duty, just do some compilation Call of Duty. It'd be
And I
great.
don't care. I don't give a fuck about Call of Duty or
I don't care
Activision.
about Call of Duty either. Even
But-
the goddamn Wii U had them.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Fucking
You
Wii
know,
has Call of Duty games.
Again, even the DS did. So it's like, what? Come on, man.
What's going on?
I don't get it at all.
All right, let's
This has
let's
become a sad podcast.
Yeah,
man.
let's
We're
get on
crying
to,
I mean,
out.
I'm not really.
Let's do
I mean,
the-
I'm not really
man.
bummed out.
It's
or
Christmas
nothing.
time.
it's Christmas time.
You
A
gotta
few
be
days.
happy to
All right,
jolly.
listen. Now, hey, guys, stop it. Now this sounds forced.
Christmas
Relax.
coming in a couple days, and
None of this sounds genuine anymore.
and I thought it'd be cool to share some of our fondest, like getting video games for Christmas, or maybe giving a gift of a video game for Christmas, and kind of just share some memories. I know, for me, I didn't actually get the NES for Christmas. My grandpa just it was a family item, and the first video game I remember getting, unwrapping. I saw the box. I saw it was just wrapped in the box. It wasn't put in a bigger box. I'm like, oh, that's an NES game. I know. Which one is it? Which one is it? And I opened it up. It was Ninja Gaiden 3. And I was at my grandma and grandpa's, so I couldn't play it. And I stared at that box art for hours while waiting to get home. And to this day, I could tell you, I never made it past the third level of that game, and that's one of my least.
What? That's like the easiest one.
Game was trash. The wind blowing, the changing of the direction of the wind. I got past that level one time and then died in the next level. And
Yeah.
I tried and tried and tried, and I'm just like, I gave up. That's as far
Wait,
as
that's
I ever got.
2.
That was I never had 2. I've never played 2.
2? Well,
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's 3 because that's the one I owned, and that's the level
is
that
it, you're on the mountain. Is that?
I just remember the wind would change, and you go to make a jump, and the wind would switch
Yeah,
to
the
blowing in
that's
your
2,
face.
my man.
I have to double check. I think you sure 3 doesn't have that?
3 might have it too.
Because that's the only Ninja Gaiden game I ever owned. Was
3 may have it as well. I can't remember. So, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, that I just remember staring at the box art, just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I can't wait to play. It's my first game I got. That's mine, and it didn't last. I can't tell you how many tries I tried that,
sucks.
but it definitely
I
doesn't.
thought we were telling good stories.
But it was a good story.
That sounds terrible.
It sounds depressing, yo.
Open
Those
it
are
up
great
though.
moments though, always. Like when you're on vacation or something and you bought you got like a game, and then the whole way home you can't wait to get home, and you're reading throughout the booklet and looking over the box and shit and thinking
Yeah.
You start to play it and it's complete trash.
You know, maybe I guess maybe it could have been 2, but the box art looks right.
if it's 2, then I'm gonna have to pull your gamer card, son.
This says full playthrough. This says full playthrough of 3, and none of these levels look familiar, but I didn't get very far.
I
So
mean, because you got infinite lives in that game, so
See, T,
Do ya?
what's up, Juice? What's up?
T's that dude who'll catch you outside in the streets and you get swung on.
that box
You
art
won't-
looks
you won't
right
even see
though.
that shit coming. T
I
be
know
in the
my
back like,
guidance, son. I know that
yeah,
level. That's,
yeah,
that's
T be in the back like, hey man, you play the
trolling
NES?
ass level. That's a troll ass level, right?
Oh, it was fucking Double Dragon 3 was the 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that
I
game's
definitely
pretty
had a
fun,
Ninja Guy. It must have been 2 then, because it was that windblown level. But Double Dragon 3 was the. I think I was getting mixed up with that one. With the,
It maybe had me thinking about some things. I'm wrong.
yeah, and I don't remember getting.
Double Dragon.
Had me
It's the
double
worst
thinking
one.
and shit.
Yeah, I don't know when I got Double Dragon 3. I just know that I hated that game even more. Like that was.
I know my video games.
I
I know my
fucking
video
hated
games.
that game.
See, I don't.
Yeah, Double Dragon 3 is trash. It's
I
trash.
fucking.
I think with Double Dragon 3, I only got to like you got like this weird extra characters like the ninja and this fat guy with the claw. I only got to that one once when I was a kid. And then I just
It's
never
literally
tried
a
it again.
game that they just said, let's make a sequel because we made money on 2.
Yeah.
They didn't put any
And that
more
was
thought
another
into that
one
fucking
where
game than
I
that.
couldn't beat one of the bosses. I would guess that I didn't make it past the 3rd level in that game either. You know, like it was just I wasn't, you know, it wasn't my system, so I didn't get to play all the time. My dad didn't let me play anyway a lot, so I wasn't that good, you know, back then. But yeah, it was definitely Ninja
You're a
Gaiden 2.
scrub. You will remain a scrub.
Yeah, it was Ninja Gaiden 2. This fucking level.
I
Fuck
was
this
gonna
level.
say,
Chill out, yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 2 ain't no joke. I mean, that final boss, the fucking spider, that shit is insane. I
Final
was
boss.
ready to give up on life and trying to beat that bug.
This level right here, for those that are watching, well, it's gonna catch up for probably 5-10 seconds now with the little white balls indicating the
yeah.
direction of the wind.
But you get used to it. Like it's a pattern. You get used to the pattern, and you're like, oh, okay, I know when to jump now. Whoa.
I just feel like I'm just gonna admit I wasn't very good at these types of games. On the NES, like Tecmo Bowl was probably into Contra, but the 2 games
Yeah, this shit
I was the best at. And I find it funny when people say Contra was hard. Like me and my cousin would do the only 3 lives.
Yeah.
And we would go through Contra 3 times in those 3 lives. You know, you'd earn a few extra lives.
Yeah, you earn lives. You earn extra
We just
lives
beat it
playing
over like 3 times straight through. And I'm like, how is this game hard? Like, people thought this game was hard. Fucking
Contra 2, Super Contra. Now we talking hard. But Contra, yeah, that's pretty easy, I thought.
All right, so who's got a Christmas memory of video games?
I mean, I got a few. I don't know.
Just say one
Just say one.
for now, and then
Yeah,
We gotta do a rotation. You selfish.
All right.
everybody else got to say something.
Oh,
Robert
no,
wants
I
to.
thought we were
It's gonna
just- I
be
thought
the
we were
Gaming
just
and We
going-
Me podcast.
I mean, I got
I
more,
thought-
but
There's
that's
time left over. You can tell your other 5 stories.
All right, I thought we were just spilling the whole things. But
No.
all right, no. All right, so I guess I'll go in chronological order.
The
So-
Gaming with Me cinematic universe.
So I'll say,
Dun, 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 dun.
I'll say, probably the Wii. I mean,
That's
getting.
chronological order. What the hell's the other one?
I mean, well,
Well, he was young.
well, because I'm thinking. Think of it. That would mean I literally be like 9. So I mean, yeah, that's chronological order. Because before that, I don't think. I mean, maybe I got a game here and there. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But like, that's when I got Wii with. Well, it was insane enough. I don't know how it was possible, but somehow I got 2 Wii's. So one for my dad's house, one for my mom's. Well, at least that's what I assumed. I'm like, so I could bring this to my mom's house. And he was like, well, what about your other sister? Maybe she wants it. I'm like, what?
I like how you acted
And-
like that. That was impossible.
And then she's like, no, you could take it. And I'm like, of course. Like, in the end of the day, like, she's not gonna fucking play it. The fuck.
This guy's like, wait, I can't have 2 Wii's?
No, well, obviously it's like one would be like, or she could take it to her house, but it's like she's not gonna fucking play the Wii. Come on, man, let's be for real here. And so
Have a
like,
loving relationship.
till we Fit came out or Just Dance.
yeah, so like,
she's trying
yeah,
to get that body right for the summer.
and so that's why so I got again. So I was at that's when they all, and then 3 games, which was Wii Play. Everyone had Wii Play because they had an extra Wii remote.
Right, that's why everybody bought that shit.
And then,
that game was trash.
Yeah, and then it was Ninja Bread Man.
Ninja Bread Man.
And then
Classic.
Super Mario Galaxy. Talk about what a weird 3 to pick out. 2 whatever games, just one for a Wii remote, and then a fucking greatest game of all time. It's talk about random.
I was gonna say,
And,
you got like one of the worst and one of the best at the same time.
Yeah, right. It talk about crazy, and yeah, that was insane. Being like, holy shit, because technically I didn't get it released year. I got it the year after. And so I was
I
like,
want to stream this now.
I was like, holy
Sorry.
shit. And it blew my mind. I've been waiting to get a Wii for a while, I guess a year. And everyone else in the class, even teachers had it. So I was like in 6th grade or whatever. And then or maybe it was even younger. It was probably younger. And I remember my teacher was like, "Did any of you guys play the Wii tennis?" and he's like, oh, I love that thing. It's so fun. And I'm like, oh, she's boasting because I don't have no fucking Wii tennis. And it's like I don't have fucking Wii tennis, Miss Teacher. So, but eventually I did have Wii tennis, Miss Teacher, and Galaxy. So fuck you.
Wow, this is some
And,
weird shit going on.
And it was very exciting.
Oh
So
Jesus!
that's my story number one.
Should save Robert for last.
Who wants to go next?
You want me to top that? Fuck that.
How can you?
I'm not even gonna try.
I could go next. Mine's pretty short. I always remember one Christmas, like when I was younger, I had just me and my mum. She had 5 kids to feed. Because my dad was killed in a freak combine harvester accident. So it's just like me and my mum. That's
By a
a
what?
joke about my dad. Yeah, that's a joke.
It's
Anyway.
a movie. It's a movie reference.
Oh,
I can't trust his ass.
It's a joke.
Because here's the thing. But here's the problem. If I had said something, if I had,
yeah, I was
I'm
like,
saying, look,
what do you want me to say this?
yeah, because like if I say something, then I'm an asshole, and I didn't want to take.
I was gonna laugh, but I think people would be like,
All right.
"Why you laughing at that shit?"
All right, what's the real story though?
That was the real story.
That's
But,
the real story.
Yeah,
Fucking asshole.
yeah, my mum couldn't afford this. I remember one Christmas, there were 2 games I wanted, both for the Sega Mega Drive. And Mega Drive games back then were, they're expensive, probably as expensive or more expensive than games are full price today. £60 or $70, $65, whatever. And the 2 games I wanted was Aladdin, Sega Mega Drive, and Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition for the Sega Mega Drive, which was my first full Street Fighter game, by the way. I did it on the Mega Drive first, before the SNES. But yeah, she basically said if you have these, you can't have anything else. I was like, so that's fine. So anyway, Christmas came. She got me those 2 presents. I was fucking just blown away. That's literally all that was under the tree were these 2 Raptor presents. And I was like, so I ripped them over. I was like, Street Fighter, Aladdin, this is amazing. I was like super hyped, but then she came on the corner and like still brought out like a black bag full of like other presents and stuff. My mum was as he was, she's still alive. My mum's an angel. But she been. But yeah, man, those 2 games, Aladdin on the Mega Drive, I still think it's the best version. And
It
Street
is.
Fighter 2 Championship. At the time, I only had the 3-button Mega Drive pad. So when I was playing, I had to quickly press the start button to change to kick, then press it again to change to punch and stuff. But yeah, I know it was torture, but I didn't motivate it, because it's just what we always say it. Back then you had what you had, and I just loved having those games. And I still got those original copies. So yeah, that was a damn good Christmas, man. I always remember that Christmas for some reason. I think it's just because I was so hyped for those games, and I knew they were so expensive, and I was just chuffed that I got them both, and I just played the crap out of them.
Nice.
That's my Christmas story.
All right, Terrell T Retro. Who wants to go?
I'll go
Go ahead,
next.
Retro.
Mine isn't super long either. The one I particularly always remember is I think when the N64 came out, I think I was 13 then. Because I think in Europe it came out in the middle of the year, so it was the Christmas after that. I was 13, and I don't remember asking for it, but there was a massive box under the tree, which was obviously the N64, and there was like a smaller box on top of it. And I never looked really at the presents to see what they were and shit. But we were gonna open the presents, me and my younger brother, because my parents specifically stated it was for both of us. And to this day, that like N64 is like dual owned by both of us.
Wow.
And I picked up the smaller thing first, but the thing was, the wrapping paper around the game was different, and it was really jank wrapping paper. Like you could see, like if you looked after I looked closely, you could see like Mario on it with the wing cap. It's showing through, and I started fucking freaking out. And my little brother's like, "What's happening?" I like ripped the paper off and shit, and it was like Mario 64, and then like my younger brother, he like grabbed the box. He was like 10, I think he's 2 years younger than me. He was like 11. He grabbed the big box, started ripping it open and shit, going crazy like what you see in those videos and shit. Like it was fucking insane. I just so remember.
The fun machine.
Just seeing like Mario shine through the packaging. I'll never forget that image. Just like burned in my mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was too old to get an N64 for
Yeah,
Christmas. I'd buy it myself. All right, Terrell. And I also have a story that doesn't involve getting a game, but playing a game around Christmas time that sticks with me, which I'll share in a little bit. But
Okay. I have two. I'll go with the one that I think is the funnier one. So the DS, so I got the DS around Christmas, but I knew like way too far in advance, and it ruined that entire Christmas for me, and I'll explain how. So my mother first lied to me about getting me the DS. She was like, Trey, you got too many goddamn video games anyway, which was stupid because I think all I had was the Game Boy. Well, actually, I probably did have a lot. I had Game Boy Advance, and then GameCube and N64. I didn't have that a lot. I didn't have that much.
That's not a lie.
That's a lot to a parent. Like,
It's
what
also
is
a
this
The parents confused.
It's also a lot if you're poor. So that was the other reason. She's like, I'm not getting you this another system. Play the other damn games. And I kept
Play what you want on Nintendo.
yeah, and I
I'm
was
buying
like,
you no Nikes.
but the problem is, yeah, right?
Paint a
So-
damn N on the shoe. It's the same thing.
So I think for weeks, I was like listing off all the features the DS was supposed to have and shit because I kept seeing it in marketing everywhere. And my mom's like, if you don't stop talking about that game, you will never get another game from me forever. And so she came home, but here was the
Is that your
kicker.
mom or mine? What the fuck?
so she came home. She came home one day, and I knew she had gifts, but I couldn't let her know that I knew, because she told me to she said, go in the back and fix up your bed, and I was like, there's no fucking way she thinks she's slick. And so I'm sitting there, and
Fix up your bed. That's the best you got, Mom?
I'm like, okay, it's gonna be in the house. I had to figure out where the fuck it was, and then I realized, oh fuck, she probably put it in her room because she knows I can't go in there. And so when she started, but I was like, I can get that shit when she starts wrapping presents. So she started wrapping presents, and I came home and those gifts were under the tree. I'm like, oh fuck, right. So I'm sitting here planning out this. All right, I got to figure out how to check the boxes without her knowing it. And then I'm like, fuck. So for like a week, I stayed up every night trying to like guess which box it was. Don't ask me why it took me a week. I was young and I didn't have my brain wasn't fully processed yet.
This dude is like prison breaking.
It was stupid. So I found the box and I found the DS and I was super gassed about it. I'm like, fuck, I can't play it because she'll know because I'll fuck up the wrapping. So so for a week, and this is dead ass before Christmas, I used to wait until about 2:00 in the morning, grab some tape, and then I would pull it out of its packaging.
Oh my god!
And fuck around with it. Like I had it set up and everything. Was fucking around with PictoChat because that's all I could do. I didn't realize it was the only thing I was gonna be able to do for the next few months, but I didn't know that.
You
at
put
the
it
time.
out that early?
It went out like super early.
No, she put it out under the tree ahead of time.
Because she had already wrapped the presents. She
Still.
was like she'll do that shit where she wraps the presents and then
You be tortured for a week. Just
yeah,
tortured.
she would taunt me with it. So every night I literally fucked around with it. Every night, and I was tired. And then so when Christmas morning came, I didn't get up at all. And she was like, I thought you wanted to go check your presents. You want to go check your presents? I'm like, I'll be out there. I'll be out there in like a few hours. And then she went and looked at the presents, and she saw that like the DS one had like tape all across the front of it. And so that was around 8:00. At 8:05, I felt a warm sensation on my behind, realizing it was a belt. You opened your present early, didn't you? Yeah.
Got on your ass.
And then and then the kicker was oh, she didn't buy any games for me because she thought the DS is all I wanted. So
Hmm.
I didn't have anything to play.
Well, you had Game Boy Advance games you could play.
Oh no, that's why I had that Metroid Prime game, that demo game.
Oh, the Metroid Prime Hunters. What do
Yeah,
they
that's
call
all.
them?
Yeah.
That's all. Which, by the way, she took from me for like a week, and I was like,
Metroid
Fuck.
Prime Hunters First Hunt or something like that.
yeah. And then surprisingly, I didn't care that first day. After that, I was like, Mom, can I get it back? And she gave it back to me 3 days early. So
Well,
This is where it all begins. You know, people who don't care about spoilers are the same people who go hunting for their Christmas presents.
No.
all right, and
not
to
true.
be fair, I've grown out of that, and I still have that DS. I love that DS, but that was like the time where I realized I can't spoil myself on gifts anymore.
I went out of my way to avoid seeing gifts in the closet and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
I
good
would,
for you. Aren't
my
you a
buddy-
weird
Weirdo.
kid?
my buddy did the same thing with his Genesis. He didn't even rewrap it because he had so many. His parent. He had 2 kids and he was spoiled. He had so many presents on the tree. He took the Genesis out, opened it up weeks in advance, with some games, and been playing it for weeks. And he's like, "I'm like, won't your mom know when you don't open it? Oh, they don't. I usually get up and just open all the presents while they're sleeping." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like that's to me that was the lamest thing I ever heard." His parents would just buy him everything. I mean, Ninja Turtles came out. He had every one that was available on Christmas. So he would just get up, open all his presents while his parents even watching, and it's just to me that was the weirdest thing.
little bastard.
I guess for me it's different. It was a little bit like Terrell. I guess that my parents didn't fucking beat me with whips and shit. But
You ain't say nothing about no whip. You
No,
know
it wasn't a whip. It was a belt. My aunt would hit
It's
me
like
with a
the-
switch.
the
though.
parents-
That's all.
Not Switch,
parents-
boy. Not the Nintendo one either.
Yeah, this is a different type of switch.
Like the parents' bedroom was just like off limits. You wouldn't even dare like lowering like the door to slightly open it. It was just like indoctrinated. You just don't fucking go in there.
All right, T, you got a story?
Yeah, I got a Christmas story. I had to look for some things so I can make sure I had it right here. But yeah, so Christmas '91. I'm a Sega kid. I'm a Sega fanboy at the time. Had my Sega Genesis. I got it in '90 or was it '80? I can't remember. I got it for my birthday in '89, I think, maybe '90. I can't remember. Anyway, so I was all about my Sega Genesis. I was like, I moved on from NES. Y'all still playing that old shit? You know, I got moved on. I had that Christmas '91. I got The Last Battle for my Genesis, and it's trash. Look it up if you want to find one of the worst games out there.
What was it?
Last Battle.
Last Battle.
I got Fantasia, which is the Mickey Mouse. You know that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
And what was the
You must have
Bulls
got
versus. It's a basketball game. I think it was Lakers versus Bulls. Those were the games I got. And I remember going over to my cousin's house, and of course, this bitch, he got a Super Nintendo with Super Mario World, and I just remember sitting there, looking at him play. What I just remember, you know, obviously the one of the big things was like, oh, it's bigger, it's better, and all this stuff visually, and seeing that giant bullet bill fly across the screen. And I almost shit my pants. I couldn't believe graphics could get like that. I was looking at my, you know, because Genesis at that point wasn't really that much better than NES. And the
Well,
games
looking
I
at
had,
The Last Battle right now, I got it playing. Yeah,
Last Battle is
that ain't much
trash.
better than NES. It might not even be better in any way visually.
Right. I think it had like literally. I think it had
Oh,
2 tracks in the whole game.
No,
Two
this was the Fist of the North Star game. Fuck yeah.
2 music tracks.
Don't you dare say it's good. Clocked
No,
it.
I never played it, but
Oh,
I
okay.
remember just seeing
I thought you were
screenshots
gonna
of
say
it.
that was awesome. I'm like, yeah, well,
Nah, this game was
It's like one of the
garbage.
worst
I mean,
beat 'em ups I've
that's
ever
the game.
seen.
That's the entire game right there. You do that. I don't even know what the point of that extra map is, or the overworld map, because you don't control anything there. And then you just go to another level with people running
one
around.
punch,
running
one
past
kick,
you.
everybody.
It's terrible. Like I remember thinking,
How do you get hit?
looking at my cousin's Super Nintendo, like,
Yeah, look
man,
at this.
this is the
Gameplay
trash
wise,
I got.
Altered Beast.
Is it like Altered Beast? Because it's you can only there's no plane.
When you just
Well,
I'm
yeah,
an
you
Altered
turn
Beast.
into like
Here's a boss
Super
fight.
Saiyan form or something at some point, but it's really it doesn't really add anything.
Look at this
look
boss
at that
fight.
boss.
This is
Trash. Like
NES
a lot of
had
games
better
were bad back
visuals than
then.
this.
And this dude is like, and you're coming there. This dude is like flying with the game. Dude,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
doing
just
no
thinking
dinosaurs
about
and
my
action.
cousin and what he's doing and what the hell I had to do for that holiday. I was like, this is garbage. Because I was really excited about having 3 games.
Look at his head explode. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
The thing I remember most about Super Mario World, I played it. My friend had it a year before I got a Super Nintendo.
I mean, look at this.
Was the
Because-
echo of in the underground?
Oh yeah,
when you
the echo
jumped,
in the
like,
underworld. Yeah,
you heard
like-
the echo. I was like, that blew my mind. But so my Super NES, I wish it was one of those great stories like Retro ripping open his present or his brother ripping open his present. My mom had $100 budget for each kid, so I had to make a deal with her because the Super NES was $200. I said, well, I'll mow grass all summer. I'll give you $100 or like $115 to cover tax. I said, all I want is you to take that $100 and put that towards a Super Nintendo. Sucky thing is, I had to wait till Christmas and open it, even though I gave her the money months in advance. So that's, and it's funny because at the time, I wonder what people thought of that because, like, I'm pretty much known in my family and friends as like really good at money management and stuff, and it's like the fact that I had to use my own money to get the present I wanted. I'm sure other people did that, but it just kind of now I can look back and say, yeah, that's. I mean, I've kind of carried on that type of mentality my whole life, but so I knew I was getting it, but it was still exciting to like everyone. We had to open presents one at a time. That's why when my buddy told me he just rips all his open, go from youngest to oldest, and I would always save the best present for last. I never opened it first. The best one I thought was the gift. I thought if it was really good, I'd open it last. And then so I open it, and then still cleaning up wrapping paper stuff, and I'm behind the TV with the RF adapter, plugging it in, and I turn it on. Of course, I got to play one level. Oh, we gotta go to Grandma and Grandpa's, so turn that off.
No.
But the best story, honestly, for me, was 1998, and I'm graduated. I got a job. I get my N64 the year before. I remember picking up Zelda when it came out in November, whatever the date was. But for whatever reason that year, we had some extra Christmas lights or something. And I was like, you know what? I was in the basement. I had a pretty big room. It was like in the same room as the furnace, but we built kind of a wall around it. And I just had a nice layout. So I put up Christmas lights. First time I ever did that. Only time I ever did that. And for the next month, I would just like turn on the Christmas lights, turn off the lights, and I would play Ocarina of Time. I believe it was on a 19-inch Magnavox TV. It wasn't till I got a GoldenEye that I got the, I might have had it. When did GoldenEye come out? 98?
97.
Did it? All right, so I already had the 32-inch. So I had a 32-inch CRT, and I remember playing Ocarina of Time. For whatever reason, I just turned those lights on every time I went to play the game. I didn't turn them on any other time. It was like, all right, I'm going to play Ocarina of Time. I'm going to turn on these Christmas lights, and it was just like the perfect mood. And that was one of my best like gaming experiences. I've finished the game. I want to say it was, I don't know if it was on Christmas Day or not, but it was just, I always think about that. Every Christmas, I always think about having those Christmas lights on in my room and playing Ocarina of Time. So that was.
You gotta recreate it next year for Breath of the Wild 2, yo.
I actually had my third game wrong. What did I say? It was like the basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
It was Centurion. Fuck. What did I play?
Centurion Fuck.
I
That sounds
still
like
own
a
it.
good game.
No, it's a strategy game. That was. I actually didn't like Fantasia as much as I thought I was going to at the time. But Centurion at least saved me for that holiday because I did have a whole lot of fun playing that. But I was very, very jealous. Oh, here it is. I found it. Centurion Defender of Rome. is the name of the game, and it's a strategy game. Really
I
good.
think for me, playing a game wise, it happened the next year because like that we got the N64. For my birthday 3 months later, I got Ocarina of Time, and then at the end of the year, so the next year, I got F-Zero. That was one of the times where my parents went away, and like I sneaked into the room and opened the closet, and they hadn't wrapped it yet, and I saw that. I didn't care. I went looking for presents. You know, it was one of the only year I actually found shit, and like I saw the game there with the box, and I remember just the entire Christmas, nothing else, playing F-Zero X. Man, I just have just playing that shit was intense when for the first racing game we had Mario Kart and kind of shit, but it's slow. You go to F-Zero and it's like the fucking music and the speed and everything, like just adrenaline rush when you're like 14.
Yeah.
F-Zero,
Well,
it was F-Zero X, right?
Yeah.
as for like a game, I remember it was 2009. You know, I was dying for New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and I was like that was the one game I'm like, all I need is New Super Mario Brothers Wii. That's it. Nothing. That's it. Just New Super Mario Brothers Wii. And then and I knew and I knew like because I would always constantly say New Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii. So like eventually I mean literally obviously it's the only thing I wanted. So I got it for Christmas, and I remember that it is always nice to be like a new game on Christmas, and you're like you just play that shit the whole night, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the coolest feeling
Because
ever.
you have the whole week off of school usually, if not
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, then you the next day you still playing it is great, you know. And also that was kind of like with me too, Juice, where for the Wii U, I didn't get it for Christmas, but I essentially did because I went also kind of like halvesies because they couldn't quite afford the whole Wii U. But I was like, well, I have like 150 or whatever. So they're like, if you just give 150, you know, for for Christmas, then I could get a Wii U. And then I remember they did it in all singles, so it looked like it was a lot. And so I counted it up, everything. It's like 150. I was like, gosh, I got a Wii U.
And then a year later, they're buying $100 gold Mario amiibos for you.
Jesus Christ.
First of all, not Mario's employer.
Juice, he won't let that shit go. He's not gonna let it go.
It was 2 Wii's, 1
Do you
Gold
still have
Mario.
it? Do you have your amiibo somewhere?
They're just kind of, you know, in a little container. Dude, I wish if I went back in time, if I was Doctor Strange,
He would not have bought that shit.
I'd go back in time, wouldn't buy any of them.
Well, sell them when they were valuable.
But I would have been like, dude, just wait literally a week and then
It
go
was
mark.
like $100. What was it at?
It was 80. It was 80. And
$80.
The Gold Mario. And looking back, it's like, dude, oh, what a fuck up. But it was like literally like my mom, you know, she took me to the midnight, all the type of stuff, and still couldn't get it. And she felt like so bad. And she's like, all right, let's see. Let's go on Amazon. Let's see what we can
Oh,
Go show your mom how much it's worth right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
And,
look that up.
You know, it happens, dude.
I appreciate. Yeah, I can appreciate that kind of dedication.
Oh, it does
though.
happen. I'm
And
sure
it was the only time that I regret telling my mom to you know be like, you know, to get it. It's the only thing.
And you know,
An
you know
unopened
why
one
that
is
Gold Amiibo,
Oh, go
the
ahead.
Gold Mario Amiibo actually was that crazy because I think it only came out in America. It never came out in Europe or anywhere else. That's why in the beginning it was so fucking high, the prices.
Yeah.
There's people trying to get $40 for them, but it's it's our best offer, and there's no bids on most of them that have
shit's
bidding.
like Beanie Babies now.
Yeah, and now, man,
And
dude,
then-
I
funny-
really would think about it. If I didn't get all these fucking amiibo, you could have bought like
How many games could you have had?
How many games does that
I don't even know, right?
Oh,
It's like 20
Fortunately,
games over.
I always only bought the ones I liked. I still have like my 5 Smash mains. I always have them up in front on my shelf here still. Like I know I just didn't do like people. I want like Mario and like the new Mario and the Super Mario and the Smash Mario and the Pink Mario and the Gold Mario and the Silver. Fuck that shit. I ain't doing that.
It was exciting
I
though.
got the fucking silver.
It was
the
exciting
gold.
when it happened. You know,
When
I don't regret.
When
the
you
money I
found
spent.
one that you knew was going to be hard to get, and you went to the store, and there it was, and you're like, that was
It
pretty
Yeah,
cool
but
feeling.
for me, it
Lucina,
reminded
was
me.
it Lucina like hard to get?
Yeah,
at?
Lucina was a
Mhm.
was a war.
One of the worst.
I appreciated it because it reminded me a lot of my Pokemon trading card days when I was younger. Or like
Yeah, I feel that.
where it's just like, oh shit. Like I remember I stood out in front of Target like multiple times. I called into work late for certain days because I was like, fuck it. What was it? I think it was Ike. Like Toys R Us and Target had exclusives in the morning, and I was like, fuck this. I want these today. And it's funny because I had to move my collection recently because my mother took the stand I was using. So
Nice.
now
Give me that shit, bitch.
they're actually closer to my like bed now. So it's like, although I don't think about the money. I do enjoy the memories that are associated with them, even if I don't.
Dude, it just talk about a quick turnaround and burnout because like literally 1 year, it's like I'm trying to get every single one, and then the very next year, I don't want any of them, and it's like fucking hell. And,
No,
and just
I'm not on that page still.
I could get rid
I
of.
mean, I bought all the ones that I wanted to. I had like 70. So
I might have more than you. I'm not
I
sure.
just went,
I think I have 20.
there's still ones that I want, and I'm not in that crazy. What 'cause I used to just import them.
Yeah,
The ones that
Yeah,
were
I
here.
feel like man, to me that shit's no fun. Like the fun of it is to like go out to the store.
That shit ain't fun
No,
to
I
me. I
don't
got
That
shit
ain't
to do.
fun. I hate
I
going.
got shit to do. I got tired of standing there.
Really?
in
All
line.
right.
I don't
so
mind
y'all-
going to the one midnight release. I hate the re-release shit where it's like, oh, there's gonna be we're gonna get more restock or whatever. I'm like, fuck.
What?
I found myself driving around to 5 different stores one day. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm a grown ass. What am I doing?
My biggest regret was the Splatoon one because Toys R Us when it was still open. R.I.P. Toys R Us, but
Yeah.
Back
they
open.
they charged like I don't know 10-15% more. If it was $12 at every
Yeah.
other store, it was 15. I
Yeah.
bought the fucking Splatoon there because I got sucked. I was sucked into the craze, and Splatoon come out. I paid $43 for that with tax for the
Oh, the 3-pack.
for the 3-pack, and it was like 34 something everywhere else. And then I thought it was cool, some of the challenge stuff in Splatoon. I thought it added to it, and there was always the debate about you got to make amiibos worth something, but then you can't lock content behind $40 worth of shit. But anyway, that's a different story. Let's get
They will be worth it though. They probably go back up because I remember I bought around Ocarina of Time came out. There was these figures for Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, and the horse and Epona and stuff. And I bought them they were like $8. And I looked them up online recently. It was just like $80.
Oh yeah, like I still have
now,
a bunch
so-
of I still have a bunch of amiibo that are still in their boxes, and then I got a bunch that are like outside. So
Yeah,
I
but all of them for me are like outside their fucking boxes. Oh,
see, I didn't open all of them. I bought doubles of certain ones that I really want. I really thought would be worth something,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I have a bunch of I have.
Well,
a
you should
problem.
did like me. I cut the side of the thing open, just a slit, so you can pull it
Yeah,
out.
fucking T was on some like drug lord shit. Bro. He was like, hey man, this is what you do, man. You take the side of it and you just slit a little hole, and you can just pull that bitch on out of there.
I'm gonna
I
just
got all
have
my
to
boxes. I put them off to the side for the ones that I
She's been
don't
doing this
display
for
like
years.
that anymore.
kids.
But I still keep all that shit.
T used to do a thing called pimping, but y'all too young right know about that. So no, we don't talk about that anymore.
Or you can cut the bottom out and get rid of that little
Yeah.
thing that freezes
Oh,
your
Yeah.
amiibo.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
exactly what T done, but in the end, I had so many of those plastic. I got all mine out, and I did do like a little slit so that you could
Yeah.
keep it the box almost perfect. Get the amiibo out, and I done that. I had so many of the boxes just sitting around taking up so much space. You know what? I just threw them all out. So now I just got mine just as the figures on the shelf, and I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, that was
I
part
don't
of the
care.
problem.
I have a
with
box full of boxes of
Yeah, because
I
they
have a
take
box
up so
full of
much
amiibo
damn
boxes.
space. Like you could
That actually,
when they would
Go ahead.
open up at the store at the midnight release, like, all right, it's a pretty big box, and they open up and there's only like 4 or 5 inside because that's all it would fit.
You
Like,
got, you
that's
got to
not
do some
cool.
Tetris shit. I probably have at least 35 or 40 in this box. I mean, it's a bigger box, not a small box, but I put like at least 30 or so of those amiibo thing
That
boxes
shit pissed me
in
off
there.
about the amiibo though, because like T had to go to all this gangster shit, to remove the little tab and shit. But like I was a lot in Skylanders, which came out way before that, and you could take a Skyland and put it on the portal. They didn't do none of that aluminium bullshit. You could keep them nicely in the pack and
You
use
think
it.
you better than me, Metro?
Yeah, Nintendo wasn't
Fuck
having
thing
that
is,
shit.
Amiibo, they do so much less. So it made less sense for them to do that. Nobody's
Fuck
gonna
you,
like take
Retro.
the
My
here's
Wii U
price
why-
is
into the system.
justified.
But here's why it didn't make any sense for Amiibo or the other one do. It's not like you could take your fucking gamepad and then
Yeah, that's what I
pull
said
all this shit in.
exactly.
It won't work. So it didn't make any sense for them to hide it that way. Or I guess your 3DS though. You could do that with 3DS. You
I
could
don't
take
know
your
what a
3DS
3DS
with you.
is, man.
So
I
maybe that's why.
I don't believe in 3DS.
I'm gonna have to get.
That's-
3DS is portable. You can take that shit in the store and just
That sounds like a primitive Switch to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I mean, it was they must have been thinking, and they knew the new 3DS was coming because
right. They were thinking in 3DS terms.
Or
That's
people
what they were
could have-
thinking.
What else could? Anyway, let's get back. Anybody got any other holiday stories? We got
I
get
got
to the
one.
questions.
I got one.
Does it involve bells? I don't want to hear it.
Make it quick.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah. Mine's is relatively quick. It was how do I describe it? I was very conflicted for like 6 hours during Christmas, and the reason why is because it was 2003, and I had my consistent feel of like Melee and shit. But 2 games that came out, if you know me, you probably could guess at least one of them.
Guild
No, Gale Darkness
Oh, yeah,
came
I'm
out
not-
later. Coliseum is what I'm talking about. Coliseum came out.
Coliseum.
Coliseum, and
My Pokemon
if you were a kid in the early 2000s, you were probably part of the SpongeBob craze. So Battle Bikini Bottom came out also the same year. They both came out around like October, November that year. And my mom's like, "All right, I bought you 2 games and I got them." And she was like, "Why are you sitting there looking at them?" Like, I don't know which one to play first. And it's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, because I knew how much of a fan of Pokemon. It took me like an hour to figure out what the fuck I was gonna do. And then I said, "Fuck it." I said I probably would beat SpongeBob first because platformers tend to be shorter than RPGs. And then my mother was concerned for my safety because I apparently was in the house. I was in my room for like, what was it, like 13, 14 hours, and I didn't like come out in any way, shape, or form. I didn't do any of that weird shit like shit in the floor or nothing like that. But like I was
shitting in a bucket.
no. I was just very constipated, and I was in the middle of a very long game session. And I think she said occasionally, and I don't remember it as much because I guess I was blacked out from a lot of it.
Damn, Cartman.
But apparently I was singing the SpongeBob theme song like every other hour for some reason. Which
that explains a lot.
Which is dumb. It's dumb because the only time you hear that theme is at the beginning of the game before you hit the start button. So I was like, "What?"
That means, bro.
That means I was in a fucking coma. I think I was legit in a coma for like over 10 hours. I'm not exaggerating that either. Like,
I wonder what you would have been with a good 3D platformer.
Eat a dick.
Ooh.
Eat a dick. Play the game. Play the game and tell me it's bad.
How many hours were you playing Sonic 06 back in the
I didn't
day?
play. I didn't play. Well, Sonic 06 was on the 360. I
Don't
never
lie-
played
don't lie
Sonic.
to us.
I'm serious. I have never played Sonic 06. I skipped
Wait,
that.
really?
Yeah, I skipped it and went straight to Unleashed
Why is that?
You should have
because for one, I don't like fucking. I didn't have a 360. Remember, I've never owned an Xbox console, and I didn't have a PS3
until
at the time.
2020.
No, yeah, okay, bitch. Don't you assume a goddamn thing. They're gonna have to work their ass off to get me to spend that kind of money. I get a PS5 first, goddamn it.
And
Tell
then,
us anything. You just tell us anything. Go ahead.
All right,
I don't like TV saying you lying, nigga. You
Robert,
lying.
did you have I know you said you had a bunch, or anybody else has?
I mean, I guess I'll call it a night in terms of Christmas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I only had those two.
Jesus
All right.
Christ! The hell
So,
was
I
that?
kind of like the last one of a recent one I had was because the Wii U came out quite late, didn't it, in November?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was going through like some trouble like with our housing and stuff. We were renting a place at the time, and the landlord just come up to us and pretty much said, he's selling the house, so you need to get out. And
What
it's
the
like my
fuck?
wife and 2 kids at the time. We were like, fuck, So we had to go and live at my mum's house for 3 months, and this was just before the Wii U released. And we stayed there so we could like just try and work out. Right, we're not going to rent again, so we're going to buy our own house now. Going to save up, all our money, right? Try and lend some money and get our own house, which is what we've done. But when I was at my mum's house, my wife, I say she bought me the Wii U. I say we're getting the Wii U because with both our cash, So we got the Wii U, and I just remember, just there being in my mum's house at Christmas time. And the early days of the Wii U, you were playing Super Mario Bros. U and Nintendo Land were the 2 games I had first of all. And I just remember just at that time of year, I suppose it was kind of weird and nice being at home, but annoying as well because the whole family was there. But just the magic of, I think that added a bit to the magic of Miiverse, and when you first fired it up and you saw like the world map on New Super Mario Bros. U and people adding stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
going on Nintendo Land. And, like in both these games, they have like Mario Bros. U had that beautiful snow level with the stars rotating and all the shooting stars in the backgrounds and stuff. That was gorgeous, and then obviously Nintendo Land had all the fireworks and stuff like that. So I think it was kind of like just at that time. It was a weird time, but also still kind of magical and cool. So I think that the Wii U helped me get through those few months I was back at my mom.
Too bad
So we
the
managed to get
next
up.
9 months was gonna be not dry when it comes to games. All right, so we had a trivia question, and Mezatiz, I didn't fact check this, we'll just.
I did. Don't worry.
All right, I don't remember the answer, but I just copied what you put. What was the highest selling Capcom fighting game on the Sega Dreamcast? Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom vs. SNK, Street Fighter Alpha 3. It's on screen. 68% voted Marvel vs. Capcom. 18% guessed Street Fighter Alpha 3. 8% basically Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And then 5% guessed Capcom versus SNK. I would have guessed Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I just want to say I knew everybody would take the bait. That's why I came up with this question. So go ahead.
What do you guys? What did you guys guess, or what do you think?
I guess Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I think it was the easy one to go for. But even like with the other games, I'd be quite surprised if any of them actually outsold that game. If it was going to be a different game, I would probably say I'd probably go with Alpha 3, because that was my favorite anyway. But I voted Marvel vs. Capcom 2, so that was my answer.
I voted Street Fighter Alpha 3 because I know Marvel vs. Capcom and shit is pretty popular, but I think if I remember correctly, Alpha 3 is widely considered to be one of the best Street Fighters. And I just remember back then, I remember just hearing that everywhere, seeing it everywhere. So I honestly think that that's the most one, Alpha 3.
Anybody else?
Oh yeah, I voted Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Although realistically, I think that was more of an arcade popular game, more than I wanted to admit to. So if I had to take a side guess, I would bet probably Capcom versus SNK. That's me.
And I said Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I guess maybe I'm wrong apparently.
We're all
Good
fucking
question,
wrong.
but I came up with a good one here.
Well, if it was me asking, then Clocked would have had all these theories about. Well, he threw this game on there because of this. Well, you didn't even know it was T's, so. Why don't you tell us the answer, T?
Terrell got it right. Capcom versus SNK is the number one.
That's what I would have thought. And then I knew it. I got caught up on the
I
board.
knew nobody would pick
I'm
that.
really
I
surprised.
knew
about
nobody
that.
would pick
I'm
that.
really
You
surprised.
know why? It's because I think wasn't that the first versus game?
It was the first versus game. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because that's
And
what
Marvel-
led to Marvel's Capcom.
Right,
series.
Marvel's
Marvel
Capcom
vs. Capcom 2 was the most. I thought that was
was
the most
way more
popular.
popular.
That's
It was popular, but it was more popular in arcades than it was on Dreamcast.
Yeah, that's what I was. Fuck! I should have just went with it. Yeah.
Street
Damn
Fighter
it.
3, they barely charted. I think they were in the 200,000 range. Street Fighter Alpha 3 was somewhere around there too. So Marvel Capcom 2 was, I want to say 400 maybe, and then Capcom SNK was 5 something.
Yeah, I spent too much money on that console board.
Yeah, there's a lot of Capcom fighting.
VG Charts has Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at 140,000,
Are they
Okay, so
they might be including
that
the
might
re-release.
be-
but they only have Capcom vs. SNK at 220,000 on the Dreamcast.
Well, their list. I had this list for forever. I just found it. That's why I gave it to you. I had it on my computer.
It wouldn't. I still think SNK was probably the
I'm
better,
sure it was though. I'm sure.
because
My numbers are wrong. They're still, the placing is still right.
because Marvel's Capcom
So far
2.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, because Marvel's Capcom 2 was like what you were saying to you, was popular in the arcades. That's
Yeah.
where most people played it. Like that was
That's
the
where
first
most
time.
people played it.
The ports came of it later, which I guess kind of hurt its sales a bit because a lot of people had already played it to death in arcades.
I mean, when did it come to Dreamcast? 2000. Dreamcast was dead by then.
Yeah. And then it got ported again to I think it got ported to PlayStation at some point.
It was
Yeah, it
pretty.
did.
yeah.
It come on a PS2.
It was on PlayStation.
Yeah,
2.
it got ported on
went on the,
PS2.
and the original Xbox as well. I'm sure. It
And
was.
you
Oh,
want to know?
Xbox, yeah.
And you want to know why I know that? Because I spent $100 to get that fucking game.
Oh,
Don't talk to.
Really?
oh.
Yeah, I was stupid because
That's not even a good version.
I love that guy. I got a kick out of it for
It's
a while.
not bad. It's not the best.
It's not great, but it's not like terrible.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games that I had so much fun playing that I
Isn't
wanted
it-
to get
isn't-
more of it.
I think it's on. Is it on GameCube as well? What's on
No.
GameCube?
No,
one?
it's not on GameCube. I don't think
The
it is.
SNK2 was on GameCube.
Yeah,
Yeah,
SNK.
SNK2 was.
Yeah, Nintendo got kind of some of the weirder versus game, like Tatsunoko on Wii and shit.
Yeah.
we didn't get all of them though.
All right, let's get. We don't have as many questions. That's why I waited till later. I didn't think we'd talk that much about the online shit in the beginning. But so Matt Squat, this is the first time I've seen
Lol.
him on here.
He's a man with a plan.
In light of the success of the Resident Evil 2 remake, would you like to see future Resident Evil games adopt the fixed camera angle and tank control style gameplay? Furthermore, do you think this would be a good idea for possible Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica remakes? Well, as one of two people here that's played Resident Evil 2 remake, I mean, yeah, I'd love them to just. We already have 3 announced if they want to do Code Veronica, but also just take this format and you can make Resident Evil 8 and have it play like this, and I think that would be the best thing. But because I mean, other than the story elements, Resident Evil 2 remake is good because of the gameplay, and I think they could make up a story as just as interesting as Resident Evil 2. I mean, Resident Evil 7 had an interesting story. I didn't like the gameplay of it. So for me, I wouldn't be mad if they did Code Veronica after 3, but also might as well just make Resident Evil 8 and make it a brand new game. So that's my take. What do you think, Terrell?
It's kind of hard because I don't have the a deep.
Yeah, that's the only
Understanding
one you
it.
played, isn't it?
Yeah, 2's the only one I've played, so I feel like I'm not in the position to really give a fair commentary on that gameplay style. I honestly do want to pick up the triple pack realistically just to get a feel for at least 4. I feel like 4 is kind of the modern style, and then maybe like 0 and the remake they did on GameCube is some other ones. But
I think I could. I mean, I wouldn't mind going back and playing the 0 or the remake.
I feel like I don't want to give like commentary on a franchise I don't have
Yeah.
that much familiarity with.
But after
The thing that bothered me, because I've played quite a few of them, and Resident Evil 0 is one of the only 2 games in my life I ever brought back. I regretted it in the end, but because I never liked that fixed camera perspective, it always fucked with me. Like you can't see if there's a zombie, even though it's a
you're talking
straight
about the
corridor.
pre-rendered backgrounds.
And I don't mind the pre-rendered background shit. Just the fixed angles.
fixed
always bother
camera
me, 'cause like I
yeah.
said, you have like a corridor and you can't see the whole corridor.
Mm-hmm.
But there is like a zombie walking there. So you walk into the next shot so you see the rest of the corridor. But then he's already grabbing you. So you're trying to run away. And then you try to run away around the corner. But because of the angle changes, the controls change. I always fucking hated that. And on top of that, Resident Evil 0 added that fucking thing where you have to switch between characters. On top of all of that, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
doing
didn't,
it.
I didn't make
I
it very
don't
far.
mind them. I don't
Imagine,
mind the remaking games because I loved Veronica and I liked the premise of Zero, but I need that shit to be like the 2 remake. None of that fucking fixed perspective bullshit.
imagine playing like an action. Well, I guess Resident Evil is an action game technically, but those older ones were more slower paced.
Like
But
Devil May
imagine
Cry.
wanting to get like a game based on one of your favorite movies of all time, The Crow, and it has the same setup as Resident Evil.
Well,
As
Devil May
far as how
Cry
you
had this
control
fixed camera angles. The first one, didn't
Trash.
Yeah, for the first one it did.
it? Yeah.
Because I don't mind a fixed camera thing. Like even Ocarina of Time uses it, but there's a difference between having a
No,
fixed
not the
camera
fixed
while you
camera.
see
It's-
a whole room.
To be ironically
That's
enough,
the
and where
movement.
one hallway is
I-
separated in 3 fucking camera shots.
no, to be fair, I've heard there's been apparently a big argument between the Resident Evil community with that whole camera angle because some people really enjoy that old school style,
Yeah.
but some people are like, "Yo, that shit needs to change."
It
That's
worked
actually
on the.
like-
I didn't
on
mind the
PlayStation.
fixed camera. What I minded was the tank controls. Forward means you're walking towards the camera. Down.
Oh, I hate that shit.
That's the kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and
that I was-
the biggest problem with that bothers me is, like I said, is that on top of that you have that and the fixed camera, but then
Right.
in the next shot the angle changes, so the controls change,
Yeah.
and then you're running
Well, I
back.
thought
Right.
Alpha always made you run forward, no matter what.
But that's fine. But when you're in a different angle, it feels like you're not doing it right. It feels
Well, what
like
happens?
yeah.
The problem is when you get at the on the fence between two
Yeah.
angles, and you're
Yeah.
trying to shoot a zombie, and then you back
it
up,
cuts back and forth.
and then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
you can't see them anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
and you have
So-
Twitch.
so did
You have Twitch moments like where shit jumps through windows and all kinds of stuff attacking you, and you're like your adrenaline is rushing, and you're like having to deal with those controls is like fuck.
it's an
So
outdated
did you prefer
concept that
Code
just
Veronica
doesn't really
then?
work anymore.
Oh yeah, I totally prefer Code Veronica over 2.
I forget exactly how the camera worked.
Veronica's really
That was
good.
a full 3D game, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Code
Veronica was.
3D.
Yeah.
It was still fixed perspective.
Yeah, it's still
but
fixed,
it's full
but it was-
3D.
Wait, wasn't
Yeah.
that the Dreamcast game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which starred Claire, which
And they put it on GameCube.
The best looking Claire. Go put that CGI intro back
No,
on,
man.
Juice. Look how good the CGI intro is to Code Veronica, man. Fucking
I was
awesome.
watching like a bunch of Resident Evil reviews. I kind of got on the kick after I finished the 2. And so when I saw 3 was being remade, I was like, oh, okay. Give me a chance to like really delve into it. Because Resident Evil is weird because like I'm not a horror fan, so it's like, do I want to put myself in a constant state of anxiety? Oh yeah, of course. But video games. What is it, a Tuesday? Fuck right. Let's do it.
It's like when Bill Maher was trying to explain Coke. He was like, I don't like weed. I don't mess with Coke. Like it's like you want to do that. If you want to be on edge and nervous all the time, just go to work.
Get a real job.
I don't understand that shit.
You put fear in people's hearts. You tell me I have responsibilities. Oh shit. You're married. No God.
So how come something I never understood? Because I've only played Resident Evil 7. So why is Code Veronica not a numbered game?
Apparently, from what I understood from the development, is that it was supposed to be
Mhm.
like it was between that and 3 and that were developed around the same time, and it kind of came down to, well, we'll just make 3 the numbered one and Veronica the side game, even though most people view Veronica as the third game more so than 3.
I do.
I think
Because-
maybe they
because-
just thought they were gonna get away from the numbering system, but it seemed to.
Because
I think
like,
it's,
Well,
it's
you
also
shouldn't do that
because
before
3 has,
I love how
3
she's
has like
fucking,
the dumb
because
shit.
from what I've seen from what I've heard about Veronica is essentially like classic Resident Evil,
Yeah.
except
Yeah, exactly.
it's just not considered like a main. Whereas 3 is kind of a deviation. 3 is more action focused, from what I understand.
Right.
Oh yeah.
3 has this all the Nemesis bullshit, and Veronica just has like
Stars,
Game breaking
evolving
nemesis
thing.
shit.
stars.
I didn't realize Claire was a superhero either. I forgot about this opening. This was in the peak of like '90s action bullshit. Like, oh, I dropped the gun. now I'm gonna drop like that's gonna fool anybody.
A John Woo shit.
This is like I don't know what year.
Ah, come on, don't chew it out.
Dude,
It's
this is
fucking
some
awesome.
90s cheesy.
That is pretty
Oh, I
funny.
love it.
Matrix
I like how
wannabe.
she
That's why I love
slowly goes down.
Like that
I
drop
love
the
it
gun
exactly
thing is
for
just to me that's just flash over any kind of logic and stuff. Like I mean it's cool. It was
It's
cool
a video
back
game
then.
about zombies. Don't give
I
me
know,
no
but-
logic, man.
I know. Fucking.
Yeah, but
They
to be
do
fair,
that shit to this day. They did it, you know.
Were you actually thinking that back then when you were playing it?
Juice
I
was
don't
where he
remember
was.
that.
He was where he was.
I bet you was.
Juice
I
is
can
the
say
type
that
dude-
it
Juice is
it
the type
didn't
of
work
dude
in
who
Last
would-
Jedi. It didn't work in Game of Thrones for me,
Oh.
where it's like drop it and then catch it. Like that stuff. It's just dumb.
Well, it didn't work in Last Jedi because it didn't make any fucking sense.
Just like
That's no-
I didn't like Mission Impossible 2 because of all the ridiculous.
Oh,
stuff
Mission
that was
Impossible
happening.
2 it's the least.
I've always been
watchable.
sensitive
It's
to-
good
to-
because it was made by John Woo. It was
No,
Welcome to the
no.
movie podcast, everybody. It's been a while.
I've
hasn't it?
always been sensitive
good
to
at the
that kind
time.
of stuff where it just like, why would you do that?
The
Like
drop
that's
of the
just
gun.
nonsense. Like
It's the least
because
watchable
it's
one. Today.
stylish and
I
awesome.
stylish
Like,
over
Stylish
substance
should be
doesn't. It
fun.
just never.
Welcome
worked.
back to the movie podcast, everybody. You know, it's
Whether
been a
it's
while.
gaming or movies, I've always hated
But
stylish.
we're back.
substance.
We're back at it.
Don't ever watch any kung fu movie ever. I don't think I could sit with you watching a kung fu movie. You'd be like,
No.
I can
Can't
I'm,
pause
do
it.
that.
I'm with Juice on that opinion, and I can separate kung fu movies. I understand how they work,
Yeah, and I
but
know
that
Chinese.
doesn't work in a Mission Impossible movie for me. That's
But it
that's
works
all I'm saying.
in Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Oh yeah, it totally works. I have no problem with it.
I like the game. I'm just saying, watching it now, it's like I forgot that she was like an action hero in that opening, because the rest of the game isn't like that. That's another. Somebody's talking about tropes.
Okay, but hold on, Juice. Hold on. Look at the opening to Tomb Raider, and she's doing all this jumping and flipping off the damn. And you start the game, you can barely walk. like,
All she does
I
is jump
always
off the
like that
boat.
shit in
Games did.
movies. Like I like the really dumb shit that can't happen, but it's just so cool. I think
Yeah,
it
that's
was
just-
like I don't remember, but when you have people who like reload the gun, but they like throw the guns in the air, and they take some magazines, and when they
Right.
fall back on the magazine, I just love that shit. I just think it's cool. I don't think much more of it. It's just cool to see.
because that scene exactly reminded me of Resident Evil, not Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, the first one, where like she's climbing up the thing to open the door, and she's with some dude, some tour guide or whatever, and then the fucking wolves come out and attack him, and she flips off the fucking thing, and it just murders these wolves, you know, doing all this crazy acrobatic shit. And then you go into the fucking game. If you fall from that distance, you're dead as a mother. But yes, she can flip off the top of this damn door, which is like 30 feet in the air. I'm like, come on.
And it's
But
fucking
There's
awesome.
a word for
That's
that.
just part of the game. That's just part of games and gaming.
They made up a word just to describe that's called lunonarrative dissidence, where it does something, a rule's established in a game, and then something will break that rule, whether it's a cut scene or something that happens in the game.
Oh, like God of War.
That happens in movies too.
Yeah,
It happens all the time.
I don't know if the word stemmed, but I know that it was created just to have a word to simplify having to describe that type of
Or
stuff.
verisimilitude. that's
Where it
another
pulls you
word.
right out of it, because like, wait a minute, like just like playing Metal Gear Solid 4, during the cutscenes, he's the most agile. He's like Neo from the Matrix. Like the dude was untouchable, and then you control him, and you get like a 2 punch and kick combo, and that's it. It's like
I was talking about Deus Ex the other day when I was recording footage again, and I remember thinking back to the game. I was like, no, it's actually Mankind Divided, the sequel to Human Revolution, where you're this android. You can punch your way through walls, jump up on top of fucking buildings and all this shit. But can I open a door that has some cardboard boxes piled in front of it?
no.
Cardboard boxes are just stuck there, and I can't do anything. It's just like fuck.
Well, that's a good. We'll just do this question. We'll have to wrap up the podcast. But what kind of gaming tropes make you give up on gaming entirely? I don't think no one's gonna give up on gaming. But
Yeah, I think
what are some
that's-
gaming tropes that are just like you just described? Like I always bugs me where you're like, oh, there's stairs going up and there's stairs going down. I'll go up. Oh, there's some cardboard boxes in the way. I guess I can't go this way. It's like that's just a funny trope.
Yeah. Well, like my friends always laugh at me when I complain about locked doors in games, Now, like you'll get some games there's fucking hundreds of doors, right? Now, I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting it to be like Shenmue, where you can knock on every single door and someone answer, or they say, oh, maybe he's not home, But I just don't want the illusion broken in the game. So I want a valid reason why I can't interact with that door at all. I don't want the door just to be like a blank texture where you just run against it. There's no indication. I need to see a visible lock. I need to be able to like even just press the A button and it'll just say this door is locked. I just need something just to give me a reason why this fucking door is closed, and I need a reason. Otherwise, it breaks me out of the immersion big time. I can't stand it.
Like one thing I hate, which is maybe slightly in relation to that, which is my biggest problem always, and a lot of games do it in different ways. But let's say you have a giant area and you have a mission, and a mission is located in a small area, and then you try to walk out. It's like, oh, you can't leave the mission area, and the game automatically turns you around. I don't like that. And for example, when you have a game like Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart 64, I love just turning around, driving the other way, and fucking around. I like doing that shit. But in Mario Kart 8,
driving to the castle.
you can't. It's like you even drive backwards, and like Cloud comes and puts you back on the track. Don't fucking do it. I decide where I want to drive. I don't like stupid restrictions.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm even supposed to be there.
That shit is true.
Well,
That's
he
some
used
real
the
shit right
example of making a player fight all the bosses again, like at the end of a game,
Oh,
like
man.
in Wind Waker.
That pulls you out.
That's a trope. That's just like, really, you couldn't come up with another boss. Like, it can work too, though. Once you're like super powerful and stuff, you can, like, some games it's okay, but I can.
Well,
see
I always don't like when either
I know
a final
Bob's gonna take
boss
mine.
has like a one hit kill move. It's like, motherfucker, dude, that's just fucking stupid. It's like, no shit, he'll kill me with one hit because you programmed. Just make him like difficult in a way like where it's an actual challenge,
That
not
takes
just
more work.
if you don't do it, he's just gonna kill you. It's like, oh wow, okay. And then also if they also bring more enemies into the battle, it's like, dude, I'm fighting this boss. Why are you bringing your minions too and stuff? Like, dude, just make a good final fucking boss so I can fight this fucking boss.
The one-hit kill move is annoying. Like, yeah, you have like an RPGs a lot. You gotta have all your shields up, all your defense up. You gotta lower the boss attack, and then still half your party dies and shit. It's like, come on.
And you're like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it is annoying when you're fighting a boss and then now I gotta go take care of these little minions that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and
like-
it's like, well, dude, why can't you just make a good fucking boss fight?
Well,
like
Why couldn't they make a Star Wars character that actually had to learn stuff?
No.
Why'd they just make her good at everything?
Kylo's thoughts, don't you know? Did you read the books?
We're done.
She
Fuck
she
you,
downloaded
no.
his-
Oh, how do
his
we
training.
solve this? Oh, we'll just give this character some new force ability, Bob.
Hey,
Anyway,
we're not doing this.
anyway,
Mine is very. I thought somebody was going to take it. I'm surprised. When you're this badass sorcerer, basically, in a video game, you can do all this acrobatic ass shit, jump on horses and all, but you can't quite get up this little bullshit hill that you just keep sliding down, no matter how many times you jump up it.
Talking about The
barrels,
Witcher.
or
Well, The
or
Witcher
even
2
Skyrim.
Witcher
It's
2,
a little older.
Witcher 2 literally had a 1 brick drop down, and you couldn't walk off it unless you went down to where it had the steps. And I'm like, I played that game for an hour. That wasn't the main reason, but that was the final straw. I'm like, seriously, I can't walk off this 2-inch drop with the character. I'm done, and I've never played.
Or
the
in a game where you learn all these acrobatic moves, you're climbing, doing all this shit everywhere, and you get to the final boss, and it's a fucking quick time event. That shit, that shit isn't cool either.
Uncharted
4. So
We've mentioned similar to that. We've mentioned this before in the podcast because like Metroid does it in every fucking goddamn game where you're like a normal person and then something happens, you lose all your fucking shit. It's like it's been 10 fucking Metroid games. We can stop it with that by now.
Somebody made a good comment about Breath of the Wild. Like, Link better not start with 3 hearts if this like takes place like right after Breath of the Wild 1.
you know he's starting with 3 hearts. You need to let that
I
shit
know.
go.
But we've
Right
never
now.
had
I
like.
know I'm full health.
Have we ever had like a direct sequel quite like I mean, I know Majora's
Well,
Mask was kind
Majora's
of.
Mask is a direct sequel, but
I
it's
think
very
that's- I think
the
that's the
world is
closest
in a
game.
different world. So
Link's Awakening is a direct sequel to
Link's
Link to the
Awakening?
Past.
That's the same
Yeah.
link.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You
it's the
guys
same
don't
one.
like it. Phantom Hourglass
Yeah.
is also a direct sequel, technically.
All right. Still, like, what will they do to justify it? I wonder if they will even try, because you had to turn in all those.
Link Between Worlds.
I mean, Breath of the Wild 2. I
Well,
wonder
you
what
know,
they'll do
if you
to
want to, if
justify
you
it.
want to make this logic in your mind, just imagine everybody got so strong that you just, then put everybody back again. So you have 3 hearts, but technically you're still at 20 hearts, but you just don't need to show all of that.
Whatever you got to do to justify it, you better do it, because you're getting 3 hearts, motherfucker. So let it go right now.
This is definitely the different way you obtained them too, where you could kind of decide whether you want stamina or hearts. And I can't remember the things that were called that you had to get 4 of from the shrines.
Oh yeah.
The orbs?
Was it? It was not something orb, spirit orb.
Yeah, Spirit Orb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit Orbs, yeah.
So it's like that mechanic, was in there where you could choose to fill out your stamina. So are they just gonna just not even address it? I wonder. And start with 3 hearts, or there going to be some kind of thing that happens to Link, like
I would
Samus?
address it. There's some things that are just the way Zelda works,
Mhm.
and that's.
Well,
one
I was
thing
gonna
that
say,
just
because
needs
this could
to
be like its whole own podcast again. Because again, we never stop talking about Zelda, but I thought the same thing. Like, are they even gonna keep like all the shrines in, for example? Because that was my favorite part of the first game. But do people really want to do that shit all over again?
I would bet money the shrines are not going to be a thing.
No,
Yeah, I'm afraid so too.
I think there's.
I'd be upset. I liked all the little mini puzzles.
Yeah, those
I
shrines are
would
really
like
good.
if there's some
man.
in there, but I don't know that. Just have that be the main thing again, like do 120
And there were
shrines.
like awesome
Yeah.
world ones as well, where you like go into that dark forest and you need
Well,
the
'cause-
torches to see.
Tomb Raider has shrines, technically, with the tombs. If you could integrate it more like that, that would be a lot more interesting than just.
Yeah, where it's like a kind of a big chunk of you're just off the path, you're heading
Yeah, off the
somewhere,
beaten
and
path,
then, here's a
basically.
little break off here, and I don't know. We'll talk about that. We got plenty of time before that game comes out, and wasn't there people saying there's gonna be a December direct that was leaked and shit? And people were saying,
No,
there's definitely
Not
January.
late. No.
no, it's January. January
It's
just
the same damn people.
January is just a guess. I mean, I could guess.
Is it
it
like
could be a
February
January.
10th always and shit, and then we got like one in April afterwards?
they definitely need to do one early in 2020 because they just haven't confirmed only confirmed 3
What's
games.
the last
for
one we had?
2020.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got to lay out 2020. I mean, they don't have to spoil like they did last year. I maybe save a few things for E3, but they had some big announcements last year early this
They
year
didn't do
early.
it at the Game Awards. They didn't lay it out.
No.
Oh, my bad.
We still got the Smash final character to find out about. So
All right.
anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. We got definitely off the beaten path there. I didn't think the beginning would take so much time, so we didn't get to all the questions.
Amiibo talking out of
They're
nowhere.
trying to push Star Wars in there and shit.
Sorry for we'll get to the questions next week. There's a couple I saw I definitely want to answer. So, but appreciate everybody for tuning in, and appreciate you guys for joining me every week, and another good podcast.
Merry Christmas, bitches.
Yeah, Merry Christmas
Yeah.
to everybody. Happy
Merry
holidays. If you
Yeah.
don't celebrate
Yep.
Christmas, Happy Hanukkah or whatever holiday.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say. That's a whole different discussion. The whole happy,
Merry Christmas and a
the whole
New Year.
happy holiday thing where you can't say Christmas anymore. It's just silly.
Gosh,
It's just silly.
get out of here.
If you don't
Celebrate
celebrate Christmas, then
gay.
it shouldn't be offensive to you. I mean,
Yeah, just deal with it. Yeah.
you know.
Dude.
Like
At this point, to me, it's just a
bitch.
holiday where you get together with family and gifts exchange. I think that's for most people. But anyway,
Happy Kwanzaa, motherfucker.
Go get trashed. yo.
we'll
Go get
be
trashed.
back right before the end of the year, and we still got to decide how we want to do our games of the decade. If we want to do it by year
Decade?
The
just have 10
guy.
top 10 games, or do it by year. We'll see. We'll have to
Games of
decide.
the decade.
If you do it like by decade, I'm gonna have to choose a lot of trash instead of picking cool games that I want.
Why?
Yeah, I'm
though?
thinking just the top 10 best games
Jesus
of the
Christ.
decade. That you 5
Of
of them
each
could have been
decade?
the same year.
Why, Robert? Because in 2006 maybe you had like 5 trash games, and then 3 cool ones came out the next year.
We're not
Yeah.
going to 2006 though. We're going to
We're going 2010.
2010.
You have
2019,
10
but
years.
still,
You have 10 years to pick from, Retro.
my
What are you
favorite game
doing?
of
decade.
my favorite game of 2011
Overwatch.
probably didn't make my top 10 games of the decade though. That's what.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
That's what I mean.
So we'll discuss it. We'll be
Right.
back. Probably do it first podcast of the new year, and but we'll be
Like
back.
normal people, when the year is fucking over.
We'll be back next week. Do it all again. So we'll see you guys then.